Good evening and welcome to the British Academy Games Awards 2019. We're live from the Queen Elizabeth Hall on London's stunning Southbank. Over the next hour, we'll be bringing you all the build-up and interviews from the red carpet as we look ahead to the most prestigious night in gaming. Then at 7 p.m, that's 1900 GMT for all of our international viewers, Dara Briain takes the reins once again for the BAFTA Games Awards ceremony live as we discover who tonight's big winners will be. A night of celebrations and some surprises are in store. So to get you in the mood and to give you a little bit of flavour as to what's to come, let's take a look back at what went down at last year's awards.
Very exciting to be here and surreal.
Such a diverse set of people, games, people behind the scenes.
Nervous, but also very excited.
So let us get started. Shall we get started, ladies and gentlemen?
We're in shock, honestly.
Wow.
This is unreal.
Give us a moment, there's a few of us.
The BAFTA for Best Game goes to... amazingly, What Remains of Edith Finch?
This is incredible.
And the BAFTA goes to Super Mario Odyssey.
Thank you very much.
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
You're looking very dapper in your tux, by the way.
Thank you very much.
You know, it's the BAFTA, so you got to step up your game, right?
And the winner is...
I can't believe I'm actually holding a BAFTA in my hand right now.
9 nominations for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice.
Senua's Sacrifice.
I'm walking on air, I can't believe it.
This year's BAFTA Fellowship, Tim Schafer.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and you're all standing up. That's good. Stretch those leg muscles.
It's been a pleasure to be back. And good night. Good luck. Farewell.
What a brilliant night that was. But let me tell you, tonight is going to be even better. Wait till you see the stage. It's phenomenal. So the anticipation is building, and with me to look ahead to it all are 3 of gaming's finest aficionados around. We have presenter, journalist and indie games cheerleader Alicia Judge, who's going to be telling us which games have broken the mould. UK editor and global head of news at GameSpot, Timur Hussain, is giving his gaming thumbs a rest for one night only, I stress, to run the rule over tonight's nominees. And journalist who successfully navigated her way to running one of the biggest YouTube gaming channels in the world, Jane Douglas. Just added in a little fanfare for you, that's all right. But before we delve deeper into some of tonight's most hotly contested awards categories, let's head over to our red carpet where the fabulous Aoife Wilson is ready to greet our nominees and special guests. Aoife, how are you doing out there?
I'm a little bit cold, but you know what? It's worth it. The champagne is flowing at the drinks reception that's happening just inside, and because you can never have too many bubbles, we started a little bit early, 24 hours early in fact, at last night's nominees party. I'm here at London's Science Museum, where the British Academy Games Awards nominees party is just getting started. Some of the biggest names of the games world are right here in one talent-filled room, celebrating their nominations ahead of tomorrow's main event. So let's go mingle, shall we? I am standing in the presence of literal gods. Guys, what does it feel like being here at BAFTA?
It does feel like being a goddess to a certain degree. It's a complete honor. I just want to bow down to the BAFTAs is what I want to do.
It's the icing on the cake.
I'm having a great time. It's really nice. I get to meet lots of really cool and interesting people around here. It's really good.
What do you think BAFTA means to the UK industry?
I feel like BAFTA champion talent, and they champion skill and work, and I think the fact that they are really taking games seriously and almost putting it on par with film and TV is phenomenal.
Oh, it's such a good lineup this year. I'm really super excited for everybody. Every year it just gets better and better. The quality of games gets higher and higher. The competition is super high.
Papers, Please and Overdin are up for or won a lot of awards, but the one that my mom knows is the BAFTAs, basically. So when I want to make her proud, I tell her that I was nominated for a BAFTA.
Games are like the medium of this generation, so it is really important that we figure out how to tell
stories in our own way, well, how to embrace diverse storytelling, right? How to tell the stories of people that haven't had a voice before.
We have had such a brilliant night talking to all these amazing nominees, but I think their nerves are starting to jangle a little bit ahead of tomorrow's swankiest night in the gaming calendar, the British Academy Games Awards.
We'll be heading back out to IFA in just a moment for our first red carpet interviews, but before we do that, guys, I know that we say this every year, like, what a year for games it's been, but what a great year for games it's been. I mean, it's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I think a lot of people at the start of the year thought it was going to be the year of Red Dead.
Yeah.
And it was. Red Dead was an incredible game, has been nominated for many awards. Then it kind of became the year of Fortnite in the mainstream media. And then now with these awards, we're seeing that there were so many incredible games that are like standing shoulder to shoulder with the ones that were the favourites.
Yeah, I think that's the big theme of the year, and it's this blockbusters and indie games standing shoulder to shoulder. And not only what the kind of attention they command, but also the ambitions that they have, the things they try to achieve. You have games like Florence and Celeste that are taking like almost personal approaches to storytelling, and you can say the same for God of War. You know, that's a blockbuster action game, but at the same time it's also about a game about a father and his son and trying to come to terms with grief and
10 nominations,
yeah,
though,
exactly,
which is a huge amount. But then, I mean, Jane, you've got Bryn, which is up for 6, and Celeste, which is up for 5. I mean, that's still a hefty number of nominations.
Yeah, absolutely. It is so invigorating at the end of a year of gaming to like step back and take a look at the scale and variety and just the small games and the big games. And to your point of every year we get together and say it's been the best year ever, it's going to be really rough when it's finally not the best year ever.
I feel like it just builds on top of itself, you know, like, I don't know, like it refines itself, it gets better. You know, the reason why indie became so kind of big and huge was because we were all a bit tired of the kind of cycle of AAA, so we push it, I guess, where we want it to go, so hopefully that's what's going to happen. Anyway, right, let's head out to IFA on the red carpet, as I think she's found Dara.
I am here with the man of the hour, Mr. Dara, Briain, our wonderful host for tonight.
Thank you very much.
So you've done a few of these now.
This will be number 9. Number 9 of these, and frankly I'm phoning it in at this stage. There comes a point when you've had a gig for so long you go, it must be impossible to fire me, so why would I make any effort? Why would I bother? If it was in front of a crowd, then frankly I would, but because it is, that's kind of, I feel I have to, you know. And actually the first time you say anything that doesn't quite get the laugh, all of the old instincts will kick in and I'll have to do something. So but number 9, so I've been there from the last Red Dead game all the way up to this Red Dead game, across that huge span of time.
So you played the new one then?
Yeah, played the new one. Not, you know, who has played enough of it really, because it's so ludicrously vast.
It is. I don't even think I finished it, but I've gotten a fair bit in.
Apparently somebody is ill at some stage. Yeah, and
there may be an illness.
There may be an illness, and that's all I've heard. But it was all one of these things, because now a lot of the time if I get any chance to play games at all, it'll be with my little ones, and they don't want to sit and play a single player 120-hour adventure. They want a quick hit of, you know, Fortnite or something, or Overcooked or something. And I also like games like God of War. It's very difficult to say to your children, Daddy can't be with you because he has to raise Kratos' child instead. And it's more important that I spend time with that child than with you. So it's a dilemma. It's an emotional dilemma that you have to deal with.
All the children need care, and I mean Atreus is one of the good ones. So.
Yeah, listen, and he has skills that my children can only dream of. But then equally, I don't really think I look like, you know, Kratos and myself. So, do you know what? If I put a couple of weeks pre-holiday, if I really just hit that gym hard, who knows?
You've got it. So are those your top picks for tonight?
I think we'll do, if, and I've been fooled by this literally 8 times in the past, right? If you're going to go for what would be the big AAA golden shot chance of doing it, it would be one of those 2, I think. But every year BAFTA throws a curveball of some description. Every year there'll be some sort of cool indie thing, where there was like Senua's Sacrifice last year, for example, which picked up 5 awards. And then they'll seem like the story of the night. And then the best game award will come along, and it'll be something totally random, because whatever they were in that one room, they decided on something completely different. So I have given up predicting how this goes.
Fair, and you know what? That's what I love about BAFTA. There's always an outlier, and there's always games that you just never thought to play before.
Absolutely. And I find it's one of the handier things of doing this is that they they send you a list of the nominees, and they send you the codes as well, and you get a bit of a burst of, oh wow, stuff you'd never get a chance to play. So Minute I really enjoyed as well. Minute was great fun. There was Grease on the Switch, which I thought was gorgeous, the scan, and also is my kind of like gentle perambulation through a beautiful landscape type of game. Like, yeah, so I've enjoyed, enormously, like whatever. I've played the opening of almost all of the nominees. And I've done the tutorial on everything this year.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Have a great night. Know you're going to smash it, and I'll see you at the after party.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.
Well, I'm glad he's putting in a bit of effort there. He's like, whatever, just phoning it in. Brilliant. Thanks, Aoife. We're going to be back with you very, very soon. But before that, let's take a bit of a deeper dive into one of the awards that's up for grabs tonight, the BAFTA for game design. So it's kind of an interesting category because it sort of asks you as a journalist to kind of look at a game in a different way, not just kind of more on the kind of surface sort of stuff. So I think we should just go down the list, run through it, and if you guys want to jump in with anything that kind of really stood out to you, I think that's probably the best way. So first of all, Astrobot Rescue Mission. I'm not a huge platformer fan. I also hate it when video games make things really cute just to like give you some sort of impetus to do something within a game. But oh my goodness, it was really cute and I really wanted to save them.
Yeah, I mean, it is very, very cute, but also like the platforming. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but one of the few companies that really nails platforming is Nintendo, and it's almost a given for them. Very few others outside of Nintendo can actually come close to that. And I feel like while playing Astrobot, I got a distinctly Mario vibe off of the game, how it felt and how it played. And I feel like when you're playing a platformer, saying I'm getting a Nintendo vibe out of it is one of the highest praises that you can give it. It's a phenomenal game.
Totally. It's really interesting as well, isn't it? Because it combines great platforming design with making full use of the virtual reality platform. So there's bits in the game where you're trying to make the character jump really difficultly to a next kind of level, but then at the same time, something's shooting something at your face to blind you. So you're having to literally duck while making this really difficult, tricky move. It's like patting your head and rubbing your tummy. It's great.
Speaking of which, I believe Aoife is having a similar problem outside with the wet weather. She's found someone on the red carpet for us.
So I am with the wonderful Brenda Romero. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
What does BAFTA mean to, I mean, you were here last year, of course, and we chatted loads then. But what do you think BAFTA means to the nominees here tonight?
Oh my goodness. Well, for the nominees, last year I was getting an award. I'm betting that it doesn't feel real to any of them, that they can't believe that they're here, that their hard work is being recognized by their peers, which I think is the biggest, most exciting thing about the BAFTA Awards. And I just hope that they remember it, because I was so like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, that it felt like I remembered half of the night. But, it's just, I thought it was thunder. Sorry.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Oh no, I can. It's spring in England. Yeah, it's quite possible.
Yeah.
But I think it means a tremendous amount. Not just the awards, not just the nomination, not just the awards that they might get, but BAFTA's recognition of the game industry overall.
I mean, that's it. Like, game development is not an easy task.
No.
I mean, it's very thankless sometimes. And I mean, BAFTA is just the highest of honors, and to get that validation, as you say, from your peers, must be an incredible feeling.
Oh, it's incredible, and it's it's a bit on for me now, and I haven't lost that feeling. Sometimes people will come to the office and they'll ask to see it, and I'll take it out, and it's still, still, it just warms my heart to think. I still don't believe that I got one, but I do, and nobody will get it away from me.
So what tips would you give to the nominees right now, just to calm their nerves?
I didn't calm my
champagne.
Champagne. It's probably the only one. What tip I would give? After I had the BAFTA, I wanted to see how heavy it was. It's unbelievably heavy.
It really is.
Very, very heavy, and it tips if you do certain things. So I accidentally tipped my BAFTA over at dinner, and it trashed. Oh, anyway, it was quite the scene. So don't do that. That's my advice.
Don't tip it over.
Don't tip your BAFTA
So
over.
What do you think of all the nominees then? Like, have you got any favorites? Can you say?
I tend to go for, I would say, the underdogs, the games made by one or two people. Those, although the games that are up this year, man, it's a tough slate.
Even like the mobile category I was saying before, like it is.
Florence is beautiful.
Oh my God.
Loved Florence, and I think I have a real soft spot for the Return of Oberdin.
I love that game. I sat in one single setting. I finished that game.
Yeah, so I think that's my emotional favorite, we'll say.
Okay, all right. Well, amazing. We'll have an amazing night.
Thank you
we'll chat to you later.
Nice to see you again.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, It isn't even raining outside. I do love the fact that every time we go back to Aoife, she looks more and more like a mafioso wife as it goes on. So we were midway through game design lists, so we talked a little bit about Astrobot. I think we're all big fans. Now, another one that's up for a bunch of awards tonight, which is Celeste. Now, if there are people out there who haven't seen it, tell us a bit about Celeste. Why should it be in the game design category?
Right, I mean, if we're going to talk about platforming, I think we should be talking about Celeste, because it was a superlative platformer with the kind of the precision and just the I want to say addictiveness of a supreme, like sublime platformer, but married to this incredibly moving story, which was the most unexpected element of this platformer. And I think the combination of the two is what really gives it that design nomination. I was so impressed by it, and we were talking earlier about Celeste, and it is so impressive and so generous that the assist options are there, because it does become quite a challenging platformer towards the end, and I feel it was very generous.
I find it quite challenging early on. All right, we should kind of move on to, we've got a whole bunch to get through. God of War, obviously up for 10 nominations. Why is it in game design category? What is it about the design of God of War?
Oh man, there's so much there that
look at this, this is going to be like a whole...
we all kind of want to jump in.
I mean, like, just to take one small element of it, it's like the axe, you know, the axe is just it's a feat of game design and game programming to have this, you know, it functions the way Thor's Mjolnir does, and like you throw it away and then you can just go off on your merry way and then
you
press
leave
the
it
button,
2 levels behind, should
and
you
then
wish,
it comes back. But like the way it's kind of built into the combat, it's very different from what God of War has been. So in terms of design, they did something bold and they took a risk and left the iconic part of God of War behind to try something different. And the fact they persevered, like, really made it worth playing that game. It's the axe is incredible.
And you mentioned earlier about how Nintendo is kind of this bastion of game design, and the Leviathan axe in God of War really reminds me of Cappy from Odyssey.
That's true. Sorry to interject. Aoife's like ready to go on the red carpet. It better be worth interrupting us, Aoife. Who have you got?
I am here with the wonderful Jo Twist, who looks like she's about to roll into a village and enslave the locals. All shall love me and despair. Fly. You look amazing. Everyone needs a cape. But come here, why do you think BAFTA is such an important event in the British gaming calendar?
Well, it's like our Oscars. I mean, it's even bigger, I think. It's a wonderful occasion. It really celebrates the creativity, the art, the passion, the absolute talent that goes into these incredible things we call games. So I think it's really important. And actually, BAFTA considers games, it's, you know, just up there with film as well. So
100%, yeah. And I mean, how crucial do you think it is that BAFTA celebrates diversity and also celebrates like the smaller titles that people might not immediately know about or hear about?
I mean, that is the thing that I love about this awards. You know, they are really showing the diversity of different genres, different ways of telling stories. And games can do so much. You know, they are a form of therapy, they do entertain. We've got huge blockbusters and open worlds like Red Dead Redemption 2, a lot of it made in the UK, British game. But also we have fantastic titles like Florence, and one of my favourite mobile games is the whole Room series. So, you know, I just think showing that diversity, there is a game for everyone out there. And in fact, it just shows and helps to inspire the next generation that they too can be doing this.
100%. Well, that was what I was going to ask you. My next question, how does it promote excellence in gaming all year round?
Well, we do a lot of mentoring, we do a lot of work to try and really develop talent, to try and really get out there to help young people, whatever age they are, to understand that there is a creative job here, and whatever they're into, actually they probably could make a game, whether that be writing, drawing, maths or whatever. And I think the Young Game Designer competition is a real credit to BAFTA, and that is from 10 to 18 years old. So, you know, it is incredibly important. It is important to put faces in front of people and to say you can be doing this too. One day you might be up on that stage.
You might be, you never know. Come here, this is the second year that the Games Beyond Entertainment Award is being given out. I mean, it's such a great category, isn't it? But like, is there more we could be doing to sort of make sure that people know that games can be more than entertainment?
It is such a great category. I chaired that jury this year and I was so delighted with it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing who the winner is. But, you know, these games are also appearing in the other categories, and I think that's what's important. It's not just, you know, all games can be learning, all games can have impact in so many different ways, but actually grouping them together in an award and rewarding that excellence is just so incredibly important. You know, we are the most powerful form form of storytelling in the world for the 21st century.
And you have to listen to her. She's wearing a cape. Yes. Thank you so much. Back to you guys in the studio.
Darn straight, you got to listen to her. She's wearing a cape. That's exactly why I'm wearing a cape. Right, let's jump on to the next one. Into the Breach. Anyone want to jump in there for game design?
I mean, it's a phenomenal game. It's like it almost feels like playing chess, but like turn-based in terms of like the way it's an RTS in turn-based form.
Yeah.
It's one of the most addictive kind of like slow-paced games, but like you sit there and you really think your moves through, and over time kind of like figure out the enemy's tactics I've spent many late nights and early mornings playing that game, and it's just incredible.
So if your copy is late,
if there's a
game is at fault. Minute. So this was an interesting little game. This one. Anyone a big fan?
We were talking about it earlier, in fact, and I feel like it came out quite early last year. And then you were like, "Oh, you remember Minute?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do remember Minute now." It was really novel and inventive. It was this like iterative. You have a minute to live and learn and plan your next life. And I think that makes it a really good candidate for design. It was that inventive, but within a package that was sort of recognizable and familiar.
Yeah, for sure.
Return of the Opera Den, which I mean, we cannot not talk about this particular game because obviously it was, lauded by lots of other different kind of games awards. Like throughout the year, it kind of, to me, sort of felt like it kind of came out of nowhere and really just sort of, I don't know, like I didn't know what to expect when playing it, and then played it and was like, what is this majesty? Anyone else a huge fan of its design? I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Go, Jane.
Absolutely. And also, can we talk about how Aoife finished it in one sitting?
That is difficult.
How is that possible?
I know. She's such a show-off. Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. It absolutely deserves its spot on that list. In fact,
it was so fresh.
Exactly.
It felt really, really refreshing, right?
If I had to pick it, it would be my pick because for design, it is so inventive and just stunningly ingenious as a concept. Like, I couldn't get over it. I think, and you described it to me the first time actually, and I was like, I've got to play this game. This sounds amazing, and it was. So.
But that's because I'm always right, because I'm wearing a cape. Right, let's go back to Aoife, who's on the red carpet now. Hey, Eve. Oh, sorry. No. When she hasn't. She's too busy, like being, I don't know, lured by Joe's cape. There we go. So yeah, let's have a quick look at what's happening on the red carpet, because I think we've got some pictures of the arrivals turning up. So obviously we are here on the majestic Southbank. Look at that. This is the best red carpet I think we've had. There's Dara phoning it in. It's all about the selfie. There's DanTDM. Oh, there's Lottie. Yep, she's up for an award tonight.
Hi, I'm here with DanTDM. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Nobody ever asked me that. I'm very well. So this isn't your first time at BAFTA, right?
I think this is my third. I'm pretty sure. It's at least my second. So.
And how has it kind of changed your experience from coming year after year?
I think it just gets bigger every year. You see this familiar faces, and it's just a great way to celebrate gaming, at least once a year.
And what do you think of the nominees for this year?
There's a lot of great nominees, like an insane amount. I can't even pick like one winner in certain categories. It's competitive, but also great to see so much competition at the same time.
I'm going to make you pick, though, so give us a couple of your favorites.
A couple of my favorites this year, Spider-Man was a big one. Absolutely loved that. That's one game that I could not put down this year. I'm presenting the mobile awards today, so...
Honestly, I think this year's mobile category is one of the most competitive I've ever seen.
I agree. There's stuff like Brawl Stars, we've got Pokemon Go, Fortnite. I don't know how to pick between the two.
All right, I won't make you then. So, like, what do you think BAFTA means, like, for the UK games industry? I mean, you're obviously well in, like, YouTube, you do all these things, but it must be kind of weird coming here and, like, seeing the people that make the games, because we don't always think of those guys, right?
That's true. Yeah, I was saying earlier that it's a great way to celebrate not just, like, the games that sold the most, but the games that innovate the most and are the most creative and thought outside the box and create something really unique. I think that's what BAFTA does really well, is reward that kind of process rather than just what sold the most.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great to see, like, there's loads of big blockbusters in there, obviously. There's Red Dead, there's God of War, but also there's a lot of great indie titles as well.
Yes, one that comes to mind is Donut County. That game I played, again, from beginning to end in one sitting, and it's such a charming game. I loved it.
I mean, I think it gives raccoons a bad name, but
yeah, I agree, yeah.
Amazing. Well, have a brilliant night, and we will chat to you soon.
Thank you, you too.
Right, let's dive into another category, and I think one of the most exciting of the night is the Debut Game Award, because I don't know, it really plants a pole in the sand for like what we're going to be looking at in the future. And of course, it's the moment that we get to discover some of the freshest new talent in gaming. And this year's lineup of nominated games is pretty special. I know we say it every year, but it does just keep getting better and better. So we've got Beat Saber, we've got Cultist Simulator, Donut County, Florence, Chris, and Yoku's Island Express. Let's start with Beat Saber. I spent way too long playing this and then was very aware that I had floor-to-ceiling windows and everyone on the street below could see that I was doing that. I had a towel laid out because I was sweating so much. Anyone else have a similar issue?
I mean, I don't think I have that kind of issue, but like,
really?
Yeah.
Did you not sweat? I got a bit too into
No,
that.
I made sure that I was in an enclosed environment where no one could potentially see me flailing my arms around to the tune of music.
Satisfying,
It is very
though.
satisfying, and that's why the fact that I knew that I was going to embarrass myself, but still wanted to do it, speaks a lot to kind of like how fun it is that game is.
I kind of just want to grab our little lightsabers off the wall.
I mean, don't. They get quite cross.
The secret is, Julia, to lay down towels, just like cover everything.
Around.
Yeah.
And then the sweat just... Obviously, you've done this before, Jane. I think it's such a perfect game just because it was so fun to do. And then you had that moment of, this is just how I want VR to be. Like, it was probably the longest I've spent like consecutively in VR without being like, actually, I need a bit of a break. I mean, apart from the sweat and mopping my brow. But Cultist Simulator. So this was an interesting one. Any of you guys particularly fans of this one? I mean, it was interesting. So obviously, it came for like a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
It came from Alexis Kennedy's very dark, slightly depressed mind, which is what I realised yesterday having a chat with him.
Yeah, so that's the really interesting thing about this category. It's best debut game, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the developers never made a game before.
Yeah.
So Alexis Kennedy and Lottie Bevan have worked together at a previous studio, but they've gone and founded Weather Factory, and this is Weather Factory's debut game.
Yeah.
So and Lottie is such a game design talent. She's a BAFTA Breakthrough Brit this year, so is totally championing the cause of great games design here in the UK.
It was super nerdy and it was like so above my like mental capacity to do it well. I don't think it was like, it was just so clever.
Conceptually and both in its execution, it's very, very intricate, and I think that's one of the most interesting things about it. Like the idea of like creating this cultist simulator that you kind of interact with in a very like, you expect that it's going to be like a top-down RTS where you walk around and do weird things, but it's very much not that. It's something completely different, and that's one of the most like it's one of those games where you're like, I'm going to play this just because I want to learn about the design of games and coming at it from a different angle and perspective and thinking outside of the box, and that's what Cultist Simulator does really well, I think.
Donut County, the Marie Kondo of video games.
If Marie Kondo was a raccoon.
If she was a psychotic raccoon hell-bent on destroying an entire... Maybe she is, though. She just has that calm exterior, but actually she just wants to tidy things away with like some sort of like real vigour. But it was so much like Katamari. I had so much of those kind of vibes. And there's something oddly compelling about destroying an entire town. I don't know what that says about us all, that we really, really wanted to do that. But did any of you guys enjoy it?
Absolutely. It's very Moorish, like you say.
Yeah.
Just the idea of just get rid of everything.
Just
how much
clear it
stuff
off.
do we need anyway?
I mean,
None of
we
it,
don't
turns
need this
out.
desk. Let's just get rid of it.
I can see it right now, in fact. Yeah, just
half
clearing
out
up
of the hole.
Yeah, absolutely.
My favourite thing about the game as well is that it came from a kind of game jam where it was create a game from parody tweets from Peter Molyneux.
Yes.
And
amazing.
It was so good. Like the person who made that parody tweet account must have been like, why did I give away that game idea that BAFTA winning?
But you know what? It's all very well coming up with ideas. It's the execution that requires like real skill and talent, let's be honest. I believe Aoife has also commandeered someone else on the red carpet, so we're going to jump over to her really quickly and see who she's found.
I'm here with Mr. Ed Byrne.
Hello
Now,
there.
this isn't your first BAFTA award.
No, I was here 3 or 4 years ago. It was at Earl's Court. Yeah. So I say I was here. I wasn't here. I was at Earl's Court. Yeah.
And how do you think, has the ceremony changed at all in the years since?
Oh my goodness, I don't know because it hasn't started yet, so I can't really answer that one. I think Dara Briain is very much phoning it in lately, don't you think? Don't you think it's time for him to be replaced?
Time for a fresh face, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Time for somebody who's only 6 months younger but looks at least 10 years younger.
I would say 15 years.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, I think that's.
Have you played any of the nominated games
No.
this year?
Do you know what? It's been terrible. I've been playing a lot of games lately, but none of them are very current.
Tell me what ones you've been
I've just finished The Last of Us Remastered. I mean, The Last of Us is a fairly old game. The remastered version is, makes it sound somewhat current. I've been playing a lot of Elder Scrolls Online on my laptop.
and I've been playing a lot of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds on my iPad.
We need to have a match then, because I fancy myself a good PUBG player.
Give me your gamer tag, and I will try and hook up on a duo.
Amazing. So come here, as a creator and an artist, what do you think the BAFTA name means to all the nominees tonight? I mean, it's obviously a great privilege. A lot of these guys, they've been working so hard, and game development is not an easy task. This has got to be really validating, right?
Well, I think calling yourself a BAFTA winner is. I can only imagine what it's like, having never reached such heady heights in my career. But I think it's great that BAFTA honours the games industry, because I think people still don't really think of just how massive the games industry is, particularly the British games industry. I mean, the fact that companies like Rockstar are as massive internationally as they are, I think it's easily as worthwhile as any movie or TV. House or production company.
Absolutely. And I mean, what to you makes a good game? Do you think games are getting more artistic? Do you think it's just dependent on the gameplay? Like, what's important?
Well, I mean, having just, as I say, finished The Last of Us Remastered, a good storyline is very important to me. I'm about to crack into God of War is my next one, because that's I think a really involving story. That's why I really enjoyed, the BioShock franchise and things like that. I think they're great. I think there's a lot of emphasis nowadays on the online experience, which is less important to me. Okay. Having said that, I play a lot of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, which is purely online. But I enjoy a good storyline in a game, like something that you're not going, God, am I still not finished this? Something that still keeps on drawing you on. You almost don't want it to end. Yes. You're proud of yourself, but you don't want. I was like the Tomb Raider. When they went back to the sort of origin story of Tomb Raider, enjoyed that immensely.
Absolutely. Do you think games still have a bad rap, or are we kind of getting rid of that whole stigma that it's not as important or as worthy as TV or film?
Well, I think it's certainly lost any kind of nerdy connotations that it used to have. Like when people,
nerdy, this is fabulous.
I think that's a very outdated view if people still held on to that. I think people would discuss what their favorite game is as easily as they would what movies they're watching or what bands they listen to. Yeah. So I think it's definitely shaken that off. What was the rest of your question?
Just whether, do you think they are now on a level with?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, from a financial perspective, they've surpassed them. So I think for people to think of them as less would be someone you're not paying attention if that's your view.
Well, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. So, I mean, it's amazing. Ed Byrne obviously trying to get himself a job there. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. So let's finish off this debut game chat. So, Florence. Why? Seriously, I don't know whether it's just because I am an emo mess, just generally. All these, so many of these games really made me, well up and be really emo this year. It's ridiculous. This one especially as well. Any of you guys big kind of fans of this one? Because it's in terms of design, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cruel joke on anyone who plays a mobile game on trains like me to go through unexpectedly be jumped by a game that's about heartbreak and a relationship falling apart and coming compromises and the slow decline of a relationship with someone you love, and I'm just like, it's the central line, please.
Yeah, it's 7:30 in the morning. I didn't want to get out of bed anyway.
Someone is literally invading my personal space and I'm crying at the same time.
Yeah, I loved that mechanic they did where you're having a conversation when you're first getting to know your prospective kind of boyfriend and the words are coming quite difficult, and then slowly as the date progresses you're able to put the speech bubbles, it gets easier and easier and simpler and simpler. It's so lovely.
There were so many lovely little moments in that, and we got to speed forward to Gris though. Again, I think there's something wrong with me. I cried a lot of games, I'm not going to lie. That was so beautiful, and so I was just like, it's just so beautiful. I feel like I maybe have some emotional issues that are adding to this, but did anyone else kind of feel that kind of heartwarming wonderfulness from Gris? I really did.
It's been an emotional year, and also I think there's just the visceral reaction to beauty, and it is so gorgeous, and I think that, I mean, as well as everything else, I think just that beauty in itself is very evocative, very Very moving, yeah.
It's also, it's one of those great examples of game design where, you know, sometimes when you play a game and you know it's like holding your hand and being like, this is how you play the game. Then there's this thing, then there's that thing. And that didn't feel like that. Everything is just kind of really left for you to sort of figure out. I should say with Florence as well, it doesn't really overly explain things, and it just makes actually learning the structure of the game more fun. Because you're like, well, I figured this out by myself, even though they obviously just laid all the groundwork there.
I think the simplicity of Florence was part of the beauty of it. It didn't need to explain anything to you, so it could really get out of your way, which was so important, I think.
Yeah, I know people who never ever play games, and Florence is one of the only games they've ever completed because it's a mobile game, so you know everyone's got a mobile and you can complete it in like half an hour, and so someone's getting the satisfaction of completing the game for the first time.
It's such an easy recommendation for that reason. As soon as I finished it, I was like, I can recommend this to everyone I know, whether they play games habitually or not.
Amazing. Okay, last one in the category, Yoku's Island Express. Tamor, you're a fan of this one.
It's just I
remember you talking a lot about this last time.
It's one of those charming games that you just don't want to over-explain, and it's just like a really compelling and really, like I said, charming and vibrant platformer that has a unique mechanic for getting you around. It feels almost like pinball platforming. So like it's one of those games that whenever someone says, is this good, or is like, I want a platformer, I'm like, Yoku's Island Express, play that game. And if you're out there and haven't played it, give it a shot. It's fantastic.
You're such a big fan. Well, okay, time to kind of move on. Well, while our debut game nominees hit the big time, the next generation of game-making superstars are hot on their heels. BAFTA Young Games Designers, I've got my little pen here, is an initiative that inspires and supports young people to create, develop and deliver their games ideas to the world. So last summer, 60 young finalists got the chance to showcase their concepts and prototypes to a panel of special guests from the gaming world. No doubt these talented youngsters will be here accepting their own Games Award BAFTAs in years to come. So let's take a glance into their very bright future.
And welcome everyone to the Young Game Designers Awards 2018. Today we are here to celebrate the most creative and technically skilled group of young game designers in the country. That's you guys.
The standard of the finalists was kind of incredible.
They were fully realised games that I would personally want to play.
It was fantastic. There were some really amazing ideas.
They just brought so much expertise already when it comes to game making, and so much creativity and innovation.
The winners in both age groups jumped out to me as games I would actually pick up. They would actually kind of be things I would buy, and they would be legitimate real video games.
And the winner is Trapped, Dalvia Dillon and Tia Dillon.
Ian Tartlets by Sophia Shepherd, Kat Shields and Erin Jones.
Maggie by Harry Thurston.
I think the best thing about being part of YGD is that it really pushed me to kind of improve my game design skills and really try and make the most original, creative, well-designed game I could.
The best thing about being part of YGD is doing it together.
We did, have our quarrels. We were like, I want this, and she was like, no, this should be this, but we worked it out in the end.
As I was walking down onto the stage, I just thought so happy, and I couldn't really get over that I'd won it.
I think for the three of us, because we all have different interests and we all brought different aspects to the team, I think it was such a great project for all of us to work on as friends.
Yeah, really good bonding experience.
Try entering the BAFTA competition, because you never know what could happen.
It doesn't even matter if you get to be a finalist, just like the stuff that you learn along the way is like invaluable as well.
Even if you've never made it to the finals, you can still be a really good programmer because you've learned every time.
That was honestly one of the most fun things ever, like having to play some of those games and then see their faces when they won the awards. It was incredible. But I mean, I don't know, like some of the people who were actually, when you're just like, you're so young, I can barely fill in a tax return, and you've made this incredible game and you're 15. Come on, I mean, It's
In fact, we're going to be
unbelievable.
working for them in 10 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's shocking, that is. Okay, so I think Aoife's got another guest for us on the red carpet. Aoife, how are you doing? Who you got?
God of War squad assemble. How are you guys feeling?
Very good, very good. Excited.
Very honored.
I'm feeling dangerously good.
Yeah?
I hope that's okay.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So this was a couple of your first experiences with video games, right? Corey, what was it like working with them?
They were extremely difficult. Divas, the lot of them. No, it was wonderful. I was very fortunate to have a cast that worked so well together. Incredible chemistry. Every day was a fun day.
Was it your first experience with video games?
Yeah, yes.
How was it?
It was amazing. I mean, I would have not known how much everything went into video games and just full gameplay and just really appreciating it. But
it's a pretty huge game for a first experience, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it was all Corey. I was just on the sidelines, just doing what he was telling me to do.
So modest. He was telling me what to do most of the time.
I somehow can sense that that's true. So, I mean, this is kind of the end of your award season, right? I mean, God of War has done so exceptionally well. Has the glow worn off at all, or is this still a bit magical?
Oh, it feels like magic every time that there's a new announcement. I didn't realize how many award ceremonies there were for video games, but I think we've won over 200 Game of the Year. It's a title. You can't prepare yourself for it. You can just be in gratitude, and you can just ride the wave and say, thank you, God, for this moment, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime type of opportunity. And we're all very close-knit family, and that's another blessing, because you can get on a project and not quite like who you're working with. And I have a million wonderful things to say about them, but I don't have enough time.
Yeah, fair enough. Great. I mean, God of War was such a huge franchise before, and you really did take a risk to sort of turn it around and make a character like Kratos nuanced. I mean, it must have been quite terrifying at parts, but it's kind of paid off, I guess.
It's still terrifying. Yeah, it was. I think I was too stupid to realize how much of a risk it was in the beginning. So I was like, oh, I got a great idea. And I just kind of ignored what everybody else was saying. And then about halfway through, I realized, what have I done? Oh, I have to finish this. But I was so incredibly fortunate to be surrounded by great people in the studio, on the stage. They're the ones that made this work.
I mean, you can honestly tell that you all had a good time because, I mean, it's just glowing out of you. But I will let you go in because it's freezing out here. But good luck tonight. I mean it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eve. I'm so excited that basically everyone is here. It's incredible. I'm gonna gush drunkenly at them all later. So we're hurtling towards the British Academy Games Awards 2019. The ceremony will be live here at the Queen Elizabeth Hall in approximately about 20 minutes or so. So stay with us for that. Time now for us to take a closer look at another category, the Game Beyond Entertainment Award, which made its debut last year. So what has this category added to the BAFTA Games Awards? What do we think? So within this category, let's just go through who's up for nominations, or who's nominated rather. 1111, Memories Retold, Celeste, Florence, Life is Strange 2, My Child Levin's Born, and Nintendo Labo. Let's start off with 1111. Who have you guys played this? I mean, obviously this is an interesting category because obviously video games aren't just these things that exist within a box, and they do kind of go out and affect things in the world. What was it about 1111, do you think, that put it in this nomination category?
I think for a start, this game was released just before the centenary of the armistice, and there are a lot of people, a lot of kids especially, who are learning about World War through the history books. They don't have grandparents that they can actually talk to and get a sense of living history. So this game, created by Aardman Animations, the same guys who made Wallace and Gromit, have told the story of a Canadian photographer and a German engineer who go to the front and don't fire a single gun, but live through this incredibly awful war, and it's just the human story of it. And the educational side of that makes that so worthy to be in Games Beyond Entertainment.
I think one of the things that I found at school that was the most difficult to teach was always history. Because, I mean, unless they were just phoning it in and they just put on wheeled in the VHS auxiliary, aux unit or whatever, and made you watch the world at war for 4 hours. But it was always really hard to kind of get people excited about history, and especially when Assassin's Creed Origins had the education mode and stuff like that. You kind of clicked and you're like, my goodness, what an incredible way to actually teach people about what happens in the past by literally putting them in it. So yeah, sorry, I could go on about that for ages. Celeste, back in this category, why is this a Game Beyond Entertainment?
Oh, for so many reasons. I think we can talk about, like, for me personally, I think it's just how relatable it is, and how the thing that really sticks out to me about Celeste is I think everyone comes to the conclusion that it's a difficult game, and the difficulty kind of just keeps coming at you. But the way that theme is just so intrinsically linked into what it's trying to be and what it's trying to cover, the idea of mental health and battling through it, and each day the struggle feels like it's getting harder and harder and harder. And by just playing the game and persevering and fighting through the difficulty, you're almost going through the therapeutic kind of motions of kind of, you know, doing that within your personal life too. So I think just the ability to transcend what video games are doing and providing and kind of connect with people on that level makes it a game beyond entertainment.
And you know, having actually the structure and the game design be an intrinsic part of the story and how that works, because normally everyone kind of crowbars in a bit of RPG and you go back to the beginning and then you relearn and it's whatever. But yeah, I mean, that was a beautiful synergy. I believe Aoife has found someone else for us to have a bit of a chat with. I wonder if she looks like a mafioso wife still. Let's find out.
I'm here with the wonderful Mel Mahout, who is obviously Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. How do you feel?
Super excited. I'm very, very excited.
I'm very excited for you. Now, when you get a script in for a game like this, with a character like Cassandra, I mean, I don't know how big the script is, I'm guessing quite large.
It was quite large, yeah.
How do you feel when you start to read through it?
Overwhelmed, I think, is the word to describe it, especially at the beginning. But then you kind of get the hang of it. Then you kind of know, you know, okay, so this is now I've gotten to know the character much better, and now I know what direction this is going to take, so I can... It becomes a lot easier as you go along. But the first few days were quite daunting, I have to say.
Do they give you any idea of what she looks like to begin with? Like, do they give you any background information like that helps you visualize?
A lot of background information. Like, the writing team was phenomenal, and they sat with us in the room and they explained everything. There were graphs drawn, there were sketches made, notes were taken. I mean, there was a lot of information about the backstory of these characters. And I think there was a sketch, but I might be wrong. I think it was a bit later on. So I think which was a good thing in a way, because it kind of let and it let your imagination, you know, kind of take over that bit instead of have an image imposed at the beginning. So we were quite free, I think, to imagine what it would look like.
That's quite cool. Yeah. Was there any kind of rivalry between you and Alexios?
Oh God, no. I love him like a brother, and I'm so grateful to Ubisoft because I met somebody who he feels like a brother to me. Seriously.
That's really wonderful. I mean, did you kind of keep your scripts and dialogues separate so you weren't comparing each other, or did they want there to be some similarities there?
In the VO bit, you mean? I think we ended up, because again, it's like a lot, and it would mean that Mike and I would have to constantly be on, you know, like open Skype, like 24/7. I think that up until a bit, it was kind of decided between us as well. But then we each took our own course for, you know, to kind of add their own personal element to it as well, I guess, yeah.
What was your favourite scene to do? Because I'll tell you, mine involved a goat.
Oh God, yeah, the goat scene. Yeah, a lot of people really found that's quite a funny scene, actually. That was a lot of fun to shoot.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun to shoot. That was a great day. That was another one. I think I loved any scene that involved kicking things or fighting, which I really, really enjoyed.
I can kind of tell that. Like, honestly, Cassandra is, like, she genuinely became a hero overnight because she's just got this attitude that, like, I think speaks to a lot of people, and you must be pretty pleased with that.
I am very much so, yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. We've got our fingers crossed for you.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
You too.
Bye.
So we are back with Game Beyond Entertainment. So we talked a bit about Celeste, we talked about 1111. Florence is in this category. Why is this a Game Beyond Entertainment?
It's a great question.
Let's think about that for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I think you feel it when you play it that this game is something really very special.
Because it bleeds into the world more than most other games, right? Because you're literally on your commute, like you would be texting.
Absolutely, it reaches out of its little game world and into your real world, and you're interacting with it the same way you would be interacting with Instagram or, you know, Twitter or what have you. And in that way, it takes gaming beyond entertainment and into this like very human, very real story that's all the more real for being well, in many ways, exactly like your real life.
Upsettingly, in a lot of ways. Life is Strange 2. Why is this one a Game Beyond Entertainment?
I mean, Life is Strange, the series, has always dealt with real-world issues. It's interesting because there will be later episodes of Life is Strange, so this is just looking at Life is Strange episode 1. Yeah. So in that first episode, we met two brothers who suffer an immense tragedy and end up going on the road. And along the way, they experience extreme racism and the difficulties of a political climate. They're talking about grief, like all of these big, real-world issues that you watch these two characters deal with, and not just watch them, like you have to navigate them through that. So it's an incredible tool for empathy to actually propel these characters forward, and we'll see where they go with the later episodes down the line.
Yeah, I think so many feels for Life is Strange. Like anyone who's into the series is so into it because it connects in such a way. My child Lebensborn, as I've been such an emo mess, I actually specifically didn't play this because I was like, I don't know if I can really. If Gris is making me cry, maybe I shouldn't play this one. What was your experience like of playing the game?
I think it's like the theme for this category is the ability to speak to kind of issues that people face that and kind of, as the name of the category implies, show that games can be more than just a form of entertainment. They can make you feel, you know, the struggles and the issues that other people face. And my child Lebensborn is one of those. Like, it's about raising a child who is being bullied for just the way they are, and you know, for reasons that they have no control over, being born, you know, by having German origins in their parentage and that kind of stuff. So it's like and kind of like raising that child and ensuring that the people around that child are also trying, or like are being kind of like addressed when they approach her or him, and you know, are discriminatory. And games traditionally don't approach, you know, the mainstream perception is games don't touch themes like that.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is this category and this game is an example that they very much do, and they are way more than just a form of entertainment.
Yeah. So we need to switch, pun intended, straight over to Nintendo Labo. Obviously that's a very different experience. You are physically gaming outside of your console. I mean, it kind of came out and we were just like, whoa, what the heck is happening with this? I've spent an awful lot of time playing with some cardboard. What was your experience like of playing it?
So I think the reason why this Labo belongs in this category is because it's not just a game about building cardboard and playing with some toys. You can actually learn how to code. You can learn how to program. So if you build the fishing rods, you can then go into the garage, which is a small like hidden section within Labo, and you can program the fishing rod to like run the motor remote control car. It's like so clever. So kids are actually learning the basics of input, output, like how to create games.
And also, you know, for later in life when they've got to put together IKEA furniture, as we spend most of our existence doing, my goodness. So yeah, that was the Game Beyond Entertainment category. I believe Aoife now has commented again, someone else on the red carpet for us. Aoife, who do you have this time?
So I'm here with Mr. Lucas Pope, who's up for how many awards for the return of Obra Dinn?
6.
6, that's not too bad, that's quite a few.
Not too bad.
If you absolutely had to pick one that you would really like to win, which one would it be?
Maybe innovation.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
I just when I make my games, I think about innovation, sort of doing something different from other people is one of my first sort of thoughts when I'm thinking about a new game or what I want to design.
I genuinely think Obra Dinn, I mean, it was incredibly innovative. I mean, we chatted about this before, but I mean, the fact that nothing ever moves and it just feels so energetic, and it's really great. If you had to pick one part of that game that you are particularly proud for having done, what would it be?
Probably the visuals. My original concept for the game was nothing about the ship. It was just I wanted to make a 1-bit 3D game, and in the end, I was very happy with how it turned out visually. Just the style and the way I was able to use the lighting and the scenes and everything. I was pretty happy with that in the end.
How do you begin to map out the script? Because obviously it's very narrative driven. How do you begin to map out the script for that game? Is it literally, you know, linear to begin with, and you kind of start breaking it out? Like, this guy's going to have an Irish accent. This guy's going, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good question, but a pretty long answer on that one. Basically, I realized that I had 60 people I needed to kill them in interesting ways. And so I kind of broke it down from a high level of, okay, first there's going to be these disasters. Each disaster will kill, you know, a couple guys, and then work that into a high-level story, and then break that down into each of those chapters. How am I going to make it interesting each time? Because I didn't want people dying in the same way. I wanted to sort of surprise the player with new ways, new sort of events that happen. and work my way down like that. And then story elements would get added with, I needed clues here or clues there, or I needed a character in this place or in that place, and sort of would work into the story as I went along.
Yeah, I never thought about that before. You're literally like George R.R. Martin. You had to figure out a lot of ways to kill people.
Yeah, in interesting ways. So it couldn't be just pirates, or guys shooting each other the whole time. I needed to kind of mix it up.
What was your favorite single scenario? Because I'm trying to think now, how did you kill off lots of people? Like the mermaids, obviously. I liked the bit where we actually got...
Yeah.
Spoilers, sorry.
Yeah, my favorite death is one where actually you can't move very much. You're in a very confined space, and you think it's a kind of relatively simple death where somebody bleeds out. But if you pay a little bit of attention, you sort of notice there's these holes you can look through and see a lot more crazy shit going on. So that one was pretty satisfying. Yeah.
I love it because there were bits where I felt super smart, because when you can go around a corner and just get that little bit of extra information, it must have been quite satisfying to get those bits just right.
Yeah, that's one of the things I liked about the core design, was that I could put those little things I could add them, which were very easy, just put those in the scene, but they added a lot and they were important for the gameplay as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What do you think about the other nominees tonight? Have you got any favorites?
They're all fantastic. I mean, I think God of War's got to be an easy favorite for a lot of categories. So that's, I'm looking forward to seeing that. But also, there's a lot of great indie games this year, so that's good to see as well. Yeah.
I loved, there's Donut County, Celeste, Florence, so good.
Yeah, Florence is fantastic, yeah.
But BAFTA, what does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? Well, it means the UK weather here, coming out, enjoying the ceremony. Yeah, it's freezing cold. It means a lot of things, I guess. It's great to be here.
Well, have a fantastic night, and we will see you later.
Okay, thanks very much.
Bye.
Thanks so much, Eva. We are so close to the award ceremony now. I can taste those really heavy batters, although you shouldn't probably put them in your mouths. Not a good thing. I'm joined by George Shelley. George, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, you're giving out an award tonight. Is it for multiplayer?
It is for multiplayer, and I play a lot of multiplaer games with my little brothers, so it's perfect.
You? What's your jam?
I'm with Alicia. We played together. We played Overcooked not that long ago.
Our friendship just totally fell apart.
Literally. Yeah, we've known each other for a little while, so we played together multiplayer.
Okay, what kind of multiplayer games do you like?
At the moment I'm playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We played Overcooked, and Overcooked 2 is one of the...
Overcooked is one of those ones that... it does challenge a friendship.
Yeah.
It does challenge it. What are you doing? Why you put that out? I hate you.
And even more in Overcooked 2, because they've added so many new stages, so now you have to mix ingredients before taking them to the... I know, it's a nightmare.
It's a multitask thing. You had it sussed though. You had us all running around. You gave us all jobs.
You need a lieutenant.
Wow, so she literally commandeered the whole thing. Put on the hat. Literally. There you go. Amazing. Well, look, we're so glad to have you. Is this your first video game BAFTAs?
It is. This is my first video game BAFTAs, but I listen to a lot of podcasts, like the IGN podcast. I listen to Beyond and MVC. So yeah, I'm buzzing, and my little brothers, they're obsessed with everything video games, as was I when I was their age. And
you now literally are like the coolest brother ever. They're like, oh my goodness, you got to go to the video game BAFTAs.
Yeah, I took them to the Lego premiere not that long ago, and I just loved it. So yeah.
I know it's always good to curry favour with small children and suddenly be cool, whereas you weren't before. So what have been some of your top picks out of the games this year? What did you play? What did you love?
Any platform?
Yeah, whatever game.
Okay, I know I'm really late to the party, but I'm playing Horizon at the moment, Zero Dawn. And
come on, man, that was late. You're well out of date.
I know, but I completed Spider-Man.
Okay, all right, you're allowed to talk again. Okay.
Literally Pokemon, Let's Go Pikachu. So yeah, I've been playing lots.
Oh man, well, you're in the right place because we're just a bunch of nerds.
Awesome.
Let's talk about the big category for tonight, which is the one that everyone wants to win, which is Best Game. God, that's such a loaded phrase. But how do you constitute best? Oh my goodness. Anyway, right, so in this category, we've got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Celeste, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, and The Return of the Obra Dinn. I feel like we should be systematic. It's best game. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, who was a fan? Anyone play? Anyone was a fan?
I haven't played it just yet, but I've watched a lot of videos, and I've heard the IGN dude speaking about it, so yeah, I've heard it was great.
Yeah,
it's a game that it's not my pick, but I still recognize that it's a fantastic game and definitely a worthy nominee of being up there. Ubisoft took a little time off to rethink Assassin's Creed. It had kind of worked itself...
That's a good strategy.
Yeah, it had kind of worked itself into a formula and was spending a lot of time just sticking to that.
Go chase some paper that blew away.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
and then The Witcher came out and kind of changed a lot of things, and they took a step back and rethought it, and they came back, and it was a really fascinating character-driven narrative that was offered so much much for people to do, and also like decision-making points and consequence to your actions. It felt like they had really like pulled apart Assassin's Creed and thought about how they can make each part of it meaningful again, and then put it back together, and that's the game that we got out of it, and it's really, really impressive.
Yeah. Anyone else enjoy their experience in the AC?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the thoughtful RPGification of games because it's a real trend, it's a real mood at the moment. But I think done right, it's got a lot to add to a series like Assassin's Creed. Absolutely.
Astrobot Rescue Mission. Have you had a chance to play this? It's a VR platformer.
Oh, yeah, I heard
And it's one where you have to like collect the little guys because they're stuck
That's
in
so
the
cute.
level.
Is that the original PSVR dude?
Yeah. And you collect them in the in your controller. So clever. I mean, we've talked a little bit about it, of course, before, but just such a great all-round. Honestly, like alongside Beat Saber, it was a game that I played spent a lot of time in VR, and I usually kind of tap out quite quickly. Did anyone else kind of thoroughly enjoy their experience?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and one of the things I really love about it is that it's kind of like it's got that classic game design where it's always moving the level forward, and it kind of that encourages you to be like very quick and vigorous with your curiosity. Like you're always kind of peeking around things just to see where the extra astrobots are. But
also it's exciting because it's in VR, so you're like, I literally want to get to that next place because I want to see what the vista's like.
Yeah, and if you're watching someone play Astrobot from the outside and seeing, like in the game, you're like looking behind trees, but someone from the outside is just seeing a person like going absolutely wild, like looking around things with a headset on, and that's kind of like, from the outside perspective, it's kind of like the ideal situation for selling VR almost. You're seeing like that person is clearly having a great time.
They've forgotten their body and themselves, which means that they're obviously having a whizzy jolly time. Celeste, obviously up for a huge amount of awards tonight. We talked about it from so many different angles. Is it a game that you've kind of seen much of?
Hasn't. The next two are, I promise.
Okay, no, it's all right. We're going to have to kick it off. No, it's fine.
Celeste, tell me what's Celeste like?
I think you would sell Celeste to George.
Okay, right, George, listen up.
Okay.
Celeste, you would love it. Okay, Nintendo Switch game. It's the story of a girl called Madeline who's got great hair, who is climbing a mountain.
It's going to be weird explaining it to you can see like on the screen there, do you see some of the pictures up there?
Yeah, it's really cool. So it's got these kind of like really cool like old sort of 16-bit like graphics. So she suffers from anxiety and she's climbing a literal mountain to overcome it. So if she gets to the top of the mountain, her mental health, like she's getting to a better space. And it's really, and it's great because it's a literal mechanic that every time you die, it's about picking yourself back up and immediately tackling the problem that you failed. Yeah, it's really good.
As soon as I get home. That sounds awesome. That's like relatable.
Yeah. God of War.
Yes.
I mean, we could do an entire live stream just talking about God of War. I feel like you've played this, you played a bit of it. Let's hear your thoughts.
Pushed my little brother Leo into playing it as well, and he completed it literally in a day. I was like, how did
What?
you do
Oh, wow, that's really impressive.
It took me
I've
ages.
taken the day off school.
Okay, we don't recommend that to go to school.
No, he was poorly. He was poorly.
All right.
He did. He completed it while ill. That's even more impressive.
Yeah.
But I played it and I was obsessed with it, and I really loved the relationship between the father and son. My dad moved out when I was quite younger, so I didn't really have that relationship with my dad. But having played that game and then what's happened in the last couple of years, I've built up a relationship with my dad.
Oh wow!
And
So it like really hit on the level.
It really hit me. It really hit home. And obviously how it tackles loss. I lost my sister a couple of years ago, and it really helped me in terms of like positioning it in my life at the time and helped me through it. So God of War was a big part of my life this year.
Yeah, and the fact that it does that from like within the framework of a blockbuster action game, like that's the one thing that I keep coming back to. Like there's so much on paper it just seems like an angry guy chopping up some Norse demons, but it's so much more than that. Like that fight is no longer for him. Kratos, before when he fought, he was like this avatar of pure rage and anger, and
I couldn't get down with it. So
now he fights for his son, he fights for his family, he fights for the kind of the responsibility that his wife left to him to raise this child. And he's an outsider in the Norse realm, and there's so many levels of like emotional relatability and kind of like intricate themes that it explores, and I just adore that game. I think it's fantastic.
I mean, because like the previous games, I never super got on with it because it just was always a bit like hulky smash, go round, beat some stuff up, and like you need that. But it was incredible that they managed to, as Aoife was saying earlier, create this incredibly like nuanced character, but also kind of hit on the moment of like where we all are and how we've all kind of changed our perspective. And you can't just be a big smash. I mean, you can be a big smashy thing. It's okay if that's your vibe, but like sometimes you want that little bit more. You need to make the character three-dimensional, and then but the segue, you can still see the old him there, and he's still in this transitional period, and how it kind of moves between it is just, it's so incredibly balanced. Actually, everything was, bringing in the old weapons, like everything was just so carefully interwoven. I don't know, it's
down
just beautiful.
to the feeling of the axe when it hits
Oh,
stuff.
the sound and the audio.
They made such good use of hit stop animation. So when the axe hits, they actually freeze the frame of the animation for a good 2 frames, 3 frames, which means that it gives the sensation of getting stuck in bone. It's so good.
Because, I mean, I don't want to know why you know what an axe stuck in bone looks like, Alicia, but...
if you've seen me playing Overcooked, you would realise.
Oh, I see. I mean, is it just good? I mean, this is such a tough category, and obviously it is a kind of AAA game. Do you think that people are ultimately very swayed by big budgets over smaller ones for a category like Best Game?
Well, I think, as we saw last year with What Remains of Edith Finch winning Top Dog, that this category isn't necessarily about who had the biggest budget, who got the most nominations, or made the biggest waves. It's about a big all-rounder, what game really said something, what stood as the defining game of that year, what kind of tapped into cultural conversations, all sorts. This game, if it wins Best Game, it's the heartbeat of the games industry for that year.
So I was going to say, it's the emotion that it carries. It's kind of got that heart to it that Ocarina of Time had for the Nintendo 64. It has that story-driven heart to it, and yeah, I love it. I think I want it to win.
You want it to win?
Maybe.
Okay, so next up is Red Dead Redemption 2, and I know that Jane is a really big fan of this one. Jane's been championing this. Jane, why is this Best Game? Tell us.
I don't want to be controversial here, but
No,
I'd like to talk
I'm not
about a
saying
little game
controversial.
like Red Dead Redemption 2.
I just know that but you are a fan.
I am a fan, and actually I would make a point similar to what I was thinking about God of War, is that I don't think it's small games versus big games thing at all. I think it's testament to how these big blockbuster games are really kind of growing into themselves, and does that make sense? Growing up, and finding ways to be sophisticated and meaningful and thoughtful, as well as huge technical accomplishments that cost so much money and took so many people so much time to make. So really, you get it all. You get the kind of the AAA production values, and you get, I'm sorry, the great American novel in video game form. So.
Yeah. I really love you.
I mean,
Red Dead dress.
Did you play Red Dead?
I haven't. I watched my brother play it, and I brushed a horse for a bit, and I changed some.
I mean, there is that.
Your shoes. Your shoes. Change the horse shoes.
You got the best of it.
I feel like, for a lot of people, it was, what was the kind of weird thing was that kind of, maybe the people who didn't play the first game and kind of went into it and were just the pacing is really, you're so used to oh my God, Celeste, oh my God, God of War, smash, smash, da 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 da, and then suddenly you're I'm just going to walk on a horse for quite a significant amount of time. And then you're kind of this is so odd, but it takes a while to kind of reset your gears. We're used to everything being so quick.
I think that's one of the most striking parts of Red Dead Redemption. It's an accomplishment on so many different levels. Okay. But the fact that everything seems to be feeding into telling the story of Arthur Morgan. And the things that they're willing to compromise, the ability, when you walk into your camp and it slows you to a crawl and forces you to walk.
Oh, I hate that bit.
Everyone hates it, but when you think about it, it's that so you can, with that slow walk to your own, camp area, you hear your friends and your family saying certain things that really stick with you. Okay. And then when you sit down and open up his diary and, see his
very, very quickly, because we are almost ready. Obra Dinn, tell us what you think. Big fan.
Hang on.
That's one more game, man.
Let me tell you who you think's going to win. Obra Dinn.
Did you play?
No, tell me.
Obra Dinn, quickly.
We all played
I love Return of the Obra Dinn. So, for your benefit, it's the story of a ship called the Obra Dinn has gone missing. 60 members, we don't know what's happened to them. You are an insurance specialist. Sounds dull.
It sounds
really
dull.
interesting. You have a magic compass.
Wait, this does not sound great when you verbalise it.
You have a magic compass that lets you see.
Great. When Alicia's verbalising it.
But there's this magic compass with a skull on it, lets you see the last 5 seconds of someone's life. So you have to go through the ship.
Okay, right, they are almost ready. I'm so sorry, we have run out of time. There have been way too many games this year. Thank you so much to our panel. So much to our panel for coming in. Really quickly, who's going to win? Best game?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
God of War.
Return of the Obra Dinn.
And
I know the answer to this one.
No,
God of War.
Right, we're going to go to the ceremony. We'll find out now.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Vice President of BAFTA Games, David Gardner.
Good evening, and welcome to the 15th Annual British Academy Games Awards. I'm David Gardner, BAFTA's Vice President for Games. Thank you for joining us this evening. I know many of you will have traveled from around the world to be here to celebrate the highest standard of work in the global games industry. A BAFTA nomination is a huge achievement, and you should be proud of all your hard work and dedication. BAFTA understands just how hard the path to success can be. Every one of our nominees will have faced moments of struggle throughout their creative careers, working towards a vision, having their voice heard, and ultimately coming to that moment of success. Your personal journeys are truly inspiring, and your achievement tonight deserves the biggest of stages here at the BAFTAs. The work of BAFTA Games spans wider than the excellence we celebrate tonight. Our annual Young Game Designers Initiative encourages young people to begin exploring their creativity through games, picking up new skills, and harnessing opportunities. Children from as young as age 10 create, develop, and present their own game ideas to the industry. BAFTA Crew Games is an initiative providing guidance to games practitioners in their early years of their career, from animation and design to voiceover and music composition. Breakthrough Brits showcases and supports the next generation of creative talent through a year-long mentoring and guidance program. We are proud to support talent from their first step into the industry and be with them on their journey to success each step of the way. This year, we welcome a new award which combines those games, which champions those games designed to play on mobile devices across networks. And we are delighted to announce the new sponsor, EE, for the inaugural Mobile Game of the Year Award, and thank them for their support. Thank you. What makes this award unique is that the public have been voting for their favorite nominee and have the final say on which game will win tonight. It's important to say thank you to all of BAFTA's official games partners who make this evening possible: Activision Blizzard, Electronic Arts, PlayFusion, Tencent Games, and Ubisoft. Welcome also to our newest partner, PlayStation. We're grateful for your support. And we also want to thank the incredible BAFTA staff for all their hard work, and to Joe Twist and the BAFTA Games Committee. It's great to be partnering with the London Games Festival for the 4th year running. The festival began early this week and continues through Saturday, the 13th of April, with a games takeover at Trafalgar Square. The festival is underpinned by significant funding from the Mayor of London, and its mission is to prove what a creative, cultural force games are. And we are very proud to share that vision. So let's sit back and enjoy the show this evening, which is being live streamed on all of BAFTA's social platforms. So have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
Take a look back at the year in games. Please welcome to the stage the London Oriana Choir. Please welcome your host for this evening, Dara O'Brien.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the British Academy Games Awards. Thank you to the London Oriana Choir performing a beautiful song there, The End of All Things, from Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Please give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. A beautiful and haunting testament to how things are in the UK at the moment. Tonight, we honour the achievements of the inspirational and talented nominees from small independents to global studios who've worked hard on their journey to success here this evening. A year that has provided players with another formidable lineup of games, packed with monster hunting hijinks, heartfelt indie love stories, god-smacking blockbusters, and outlaws on the run. It's been a glorious year of gaming. Give yourself a massive round of applause. Congratulations for all that you've achieved to get here. Yes. Good. Well done. I say them with total confidence, knowing that I have not played any of them, really. Well, I have, of course I have. I'm in many ways your dream customer because I buy them all. I buy all of the games and I don't have time to play them. So my hunger is never sated for the adventures that I see here, right? And then when the awards come around, they give me all of the things, the nominations, right? Okay, so I can really catch up with them. And then every year, there's a little moment in the O'Brien household where I have to delete the previous year's games I haven't finished to make way for this year's games I haven't finished, right? So I'm going to talk with complete confidence here tonight about things that I have yet to even get to. Apparently, somebody gets tuberculosis. Not so far for me. You get to unlock Ithaca and other Greek islands. No. You get to drive in Edinburgh. No. There's so many things I haven't got to do. There's literally a nominee for Best Performance whose work I never got to. You don't ever get that in the Oscars where somebody goes and the winner goes to somebody. I left the cinema before they arrived. But no, because mainly for this year, and this is the thing that will obviously change as you get older, I play games with my kids, and they're very different to the games that obviously many of the AAA games here. I mainly play a lot of Battle Royale type games, a lot of many permutations of that with a young man. And look, really, what doesn't have a Battle Royale version of at this stage? Like whatever, even Call of Duty has given a Battle Royale version, while at the same time Fortnite has got respawning. You're just confusing things, lads. One of you do one thing and the other do the other, because frankly, this is like the bit where Flora brought out a range of margarine called Buttery. It's not helping, lads, for this to be vague. Everything is a battle. Tetris has a Battle Royale version. Nobody was asking for a Battle Royale version of Tetris. FIFA 19 has a mode where players get eliminated off the field. Who needed Battle Royale on a football field, right? Even Fallout 76 has got a Battle Royale mode, but that's really because there's only one person still playing it. And even when I get away from the kids to play a game, there's bloody kids in the game, right? The last thing I need is to take time away from my family to raise Kratos' son instead. That doesn't make any sense at all. But it does raise the thing, by the way, teaching swordplay to your kids is more common as an experience for parents than people possibly. Because obviously, we're very big. Oh, we're very right on these days. There are no guns in the house. Oh, kids don't play with guns anymore. There was a thing for a long time. But shall we not let kids near guns? And you go, oh, that's good. It's good that we don't give guns to kids like whatever. But Jesus, swords have really rushed in to fill the vacuum. If you're a parent, you know your house is filled constantly with lightsabers and pirate swords and endless amounts of different swords. And I'll say this for guns. Yes, they're a social evil. But at least when you're playing with guns, the kid's on the other side of the room. Pam, pam, pam. Oh, you got me. Well done. Swords don't hurt. Swords do hurt, excuse me. Guns don't hurt. If you get a sword in the nuts, you really feel it. And there's no amount of hearing an authentic Star Wars noise as it swoops up between your legs is going to stop that. Apologies, this comes out because it's dreadfully middle class, but I am a dreadfully middle class. For those of you who haven't done middle class parenting in London, that basically, how can I sum it up in a snapshot? Middle class parenting in London involves writing a lot of thank you letters on behalf of children who can't write to children who can't read. That is... it involves. But even games involve, and a wonderful thing, My Child Lebensborn, what an incredible act of love that game is. It's a fantastic game. It's very moving, it's very beautiful, but I'm not playing it because I've already got miserable kids in the house at the best of times, and I'm not leaving my children to make another child unhappy instead, right? With kids going, what do you want? Daddy's playing a video game instead of being a better parent. Listen, it is, by the way, if you want any kind of snapshot, and the last thing I'll say is, if you want any kind of snapshot of raising a small child is like, look at the Parliament. That is essentially, look at right now, Parliament is essentially being a toddler at breakfast time who won't eat any permutation of the food you want to give it. Have some mashed banana? No. Okay, have some full banana? No. Have a sausage? No. What do you want? Stop saying no to everything, right? There have been stunning games, however, for family, and I'm going to claim some of those, by the way. Overcooked 2, fabulous game. Really, really good. Really love Overcooked 2. Astrobots, single-handedly making VR an essential part as well. Done for that. Nintendo Labo, fantastic innovative idea that is. What an amazing, amazing financial thing that is to make cardboard even more expensive than Ryman's make it. I mean, it comes in a box and the kids are allowed to play with the box instead. It's quite impressive. Anyway, so there are loads of family games. And yes, obviously there are other games. Obviously there's all these fantastic AAA things and they've been as stunning as they always are. But I'll just say this, I get dumped with them a week before these awards and lads, they're too big. I'm just saying this, like Grandpa from The Simpsons, they're too big. This would be like if I was hosting a book awards and every book was 4,000 pages long, and then if you even finished those 4,000 pages, all you got was another 500 pages as a thank you for having done that far. And so many skill trees. Jesus, lads, what's with the skill trees? With the same skills on each skill tree, right? Here's my nomination as an innovation for the industry. If I've already unlocked stealth kill in one game, just give it to me in all the other games as well, would you? It seems to be a waste of time to make me re-earn it, whether I'm Batman or Spider-Man or Kratos or whoever, to re-earn what is basically hiding in a bush until somebody gets a bit closer and then I press triangle. There's no reason to withhold that any longer, right? But there is a general theme within gaming, and I will say this, like whatever, that you've done well. You've done very, very well. I've hosted this awards across the last dozen years, about 9 times, right? And there are times when I've hosted these awards as if you were the underdogs, as if you were the little industry that could, and look how well you're doing, and look at you now, for God's sake, look at the levels of success you have, the largest entertainment industry in the world, and the levels of confidence. And my God, is that ever slightly seeping through into the games you're making? May I point out, Forza Horizon 4. Fabulous game. Looked gorgeous. How stunning. Well done to the developers of that. Glorious game. But Jesus, how middle class was that game, right? A game, what piece of middle class wish fulfillment? The ability to drive from the Cotswolds to Edinburgh in 15 minutes. Yes, we're keeping our place in the countryside, but Tarquin is a play on at the fringe. And what's with all the boats? Jesus, you've gone big on boats in the last year. I've mocked you before for the horses, but Jesus, you love a ship now. Everyone's got a ship. Have you all got yachts? Is that the idea? Is it, lad? You've all done well in your Battle Royale money and you've got money to burn, so we all have to learn how to man a ship to work on your crew during the summer. Every game involves somehow being on a boat at some stage, whether you're at Sea of Thieves with 3 strangers who you've never met, passive-aggressively warning you about an island because you haven't learned how to stop a boat yet. That's happened to me more than once. Or, of course, Assassin's Creed, a glorious game, nominated for one of the big awards here. Fabulous stuff. Well done to the makers of Assassin's Creed. Odyssey, absolutely gorgeous. Who hasn't wanted to clamber up a 20-foot penis as part of the gameplay? But as well as that, both, oh my God, and look, by the way, to the maker, to Ubisoft and the makers of those, yes, but surely at some stage you're going to run out of historical periods. I know, obviously the next one is Roman, has to be Roman, right? But you've done, you've done all of history at this stage. You've got to bring this one. I'm looking for the one set in 1970s Northern Ireland. That's the one, you've got 2 choices of character, Paddy or Billy. That's going to change things. enormously, right? So it's like yachts or ponies. They're the two things this industry is doing really well. Fast cars in the Cotswolds, sorry, three things, yachts and ponies. My God, you've met the horse thing, lads. You've got it down at this stage. Which brings us on to Red Dead Redemption. Congratulations to them. That's a hell of a game. That's the game you want to be playing if you want to get somewhere fast. That's the game. That's the game you want to be dropped with a week before the awards. Quick, finish this one off, and then you can have a look at something else. There's a game that likes to take its own time around its own landscape. Stop and smell the roses. Look at our snow animation for another hour. And listen, it's impressive, it's very, very good, but there's times when the action eventually comes in Red Dead Redemption that I've forgotten what the controls are, and I just shoot my horse in blind panic. I have repeatedly shot my horse in Red Dead Redemption. Yes, I know somebody gets tuberculosis. I'm presuming he caught it off a dead horse, because that's all there is. Hundreds of dead horses. And by the way, can we put a special shout out to the people who draw horses? Because they are doing a particularly brilliant job at the moment. Especially because when they did the horse module in graphic design college, they presumed it would be faces. But rather than more and more intricate versions of horses' arses to be, because that's all you're looking at. And do you, different designers doing different games with horses, just as an insider, do you get horse envy? When somebody else brings out a horse, you go, Jesus, look at that, look at the fetlocks on that. They've done a fantastic job with that horse. Our horse isn't as good. Send it back to the team. We need better musculature on our horses. Like, yeah. Lads, these things are great to see. It's fantastic to see, whether the boats or the fast cars or the so many boats, but a warning. Boats are dangerous, lads. We've learned that this year as well. We've learned that you can die on a boat, and you can die so many ways on a boat. You can be crushed or killed or electrocuted or shot or eaten by a giant beast or something, all of which I learned from The Return of Obra Dinn, which is another nominee for and one of the genuinely most original games we've seen in a while. Fabulous game. Look forward to the sequel next year, which is The Return of Dara, which is a game in which a comedian dies 60 times, and you have to work out which reason he died each time. Was the audience too old, too young, too drunk, not drunk enough, a little bit Brexity maybe, or a video game crowd that realised I was bluffing and turned on me after 10 minutes. They are all the many options that we have. You've had a fantastic year, as you always have. They're glorious properties and they've wonderful things, and we are going to shower you with I say that, no, we'll get the same number of awards and maybe one person will get them all. Who knows? But nonetheless, you're out and you're looking great. Give yourself a massive round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the wonderful work you've done this year. But before we even give out an award, before we even hand out an award, a big thank you to our partners that helped make this evening possible. Activision Blizzard, EE, Electronic Arts, Sega Europe Limited, PlayFusion, Tencent, and Ubisoft Entertainment. Thank you very much to them. Thank you very much for all of that. Thank you very much. Here's the thing, I always ask any of these audiences, we are going to show you the nominations, they're going to appear in a video at some stage. If you see something that you enjoy, that you worked on, that you admire, please give them a cheer, applaud them. This is a magical moment for everyone who's been nominated, and only one person will win, but all the nominees deserve our applause. So as they appear, if you respect their work and love it, go for it. Give them a bit of an ovation. And throughout the evening, if you're watching on any of these social platforms, why not get involved and share your opinions on your favourites and who won and who didn't. Please tag us at BAFTA Games or hashtag BAFTA Games. Shall we begin the awards, ladies and gentlemen? Very good. Time for our first award, and what better way to begin than with Original Property, the award that celebrates the best new game of the year, which is not the same as the best game of the year, because that comes at the end, but it'll potentially could be the same game that wins that as well. We don't know yet. That's how crazy this night goes, right? So, to present the award for Best Not a Sequel is a man who put Farming Simulator on the map back in 2015 on Mock the Week. Also a man who I've introduced so often that even the act of introducing him is not an original property. Please welcome Mr. Ed Byrne.
Thank you. These things are heavy.
Are they?
Are they? Well, how would you know? No, nor would I! Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Dara. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dara. Although I feel presenting original property, you missed a trick here, not getting Kevin MacLeod to do this. You see, Kevin MacLeod hosts a show called Grand Designs, in which the buildings or properties are unique or original. Hence the two puns underpinning that joke. So, in an industry dominated by franchises and sequels, an original project that breaks the mold is a beautiful thing, whether it's battling enemies as a reanimated corpse, exploring fantasy kingdoms as an adorable little mouse, or falling in love for the first time. There's nothing like learning the challenges and experiencing the emotions of a brand new gaming world for the very first time. Here are the nominees for original property.
Original property.
Exploration is conducted at your own risk.
Subnautica.
Utilizing alien resources is a proven survival strategy. Explore, study, catalogue new species.
Return of the Obra Dinn. Dead Cells. Florence. Into the Breach. Moss.
And the BAFTA for original property goes to Into the Breach.
I'm Matthew, and this is terrifying. I'm a programmer, not an adult public speaker. I've got a lot of thank yous, or a couple of them anyway. I'll try to get them quickly. Justin Ma, my game dev partner, who's absolutely brilliant, and I'm so lucky to work with him, is not here tonight. He should be, but I couldn't have done it without him. And the rest of the team. Jeff here from Power Up Audio.
I'm a sound designer, not a game designer.
And Chris Avalone, and Isla, and Polina, and so many people I will forget because there's a lot of you. And a big thank you to my mom, who's in the audience tonight. She always wanted to go to like a glitzy award show like the Oscars, and I wouldn't have thought that I would have been able to do that, but here we are, much less winning one, which is even more insane. And then last but most important, I need to thank my wife, who has supported me from the very beginning in all of this, and she also can't be here tonight because she is looking after our 2 young children. And so, Allison, Fox, and Willow, I love you guys, and I hope you're watching, and I'll be home soon. Thank you.
Our next award is for music. Few things in gaming or in life can evoke a memory or involuntarily trigger a strong emotional response, like the soundtrack from a much-loved video game. Maybe smell, but we don't have that technology yet. Imagine if we did. It makes Sea of Thieves a very different game. I don't know if you've ever smelt a pirate, but unless you're a fan of fish, rum, and urine, it's a very difficult cuddle. Here to present the award is a woman who won this BAFTA in 2016 herself for an incredible score for Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Her work has been performed in venues across the globe, from the Sydney Opera House to the Royal Albert Hall, as well as only minutes ago by the choir who are on this stage at the start of the show. Please welcome renowned composer Jessica Curry.
A soundtrack is something that can single-handedly make or break an experience for a gamer. The award for music is a celebration of the tunes that carried, lifted and punctuated our video game adventures this year. Musical compositions that brought depth and meaning to our beloved games. Here are the nominees for music.
Music. Tetris Effect. Far Cry 5. Greece. Florence. God of War. Celeste.
Okay. The BAFTA for music goes to God of War.
Well, this is amazing. Thank you very much. I have a few people to thank, but first and foremost, I want to thank and congratulate our wonderfully talented composer, Byrne. And I want to thank Byrne for being so collaborative, for bringing so much passion and energy to the project, but most of all, for writing such a truly phenomenal score. Thank you, Byrne. Thank you to my good friend Peter Scatoro, who's a fellow music producer. Thank you. And, and to the entire Sony Interactive Music team watching back home in sunny California. Hi everybody, we won. Thank you to Corey Barlog and to everybody at Santa Monica Studios for inviting us along on this journey with them and for creating lifetime memories like this tonight. Thank you to all the amazing musicians and singers who performed so beautifully on the score. And finally, for the video game industry to have the support and recognition from such a prestigious academy is just, well, bloody marvellous. Thank you, BAFTA.
Next up is the award for game design, or the Don't Put a Tree in the Middle of the Road award. For me, game design is like art. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know what I like. Thankfully, we've got somebody who does know what they're talking about to present the award, legendary game designer Brenda Romero.
Diegwich, Agusker of Milmahagus, Dara.
The 40 row.
Hello, thank you. The BAFTA Award for Game Design goes to the game which captivates and engages the player. All aspects are considered, from world design to game mechanics to the use of controls. Here are the nominees for game design.
Game design.
Not much keeping him above water. The planks of wood and the grace of God.
Return of the Obra Dinn.
Only surprise about the Obra Dinn. It's come back. Empty.
Astrobank Rescue Mission. Into the breach. Minute. Celeste. God of War.
And the award for game design goes to, I didn't peek, The Return of the Obra Dinn.
Thank God I have a speech. It's going to start a little dark, but I'll try to pick it up by the end. Obra Dinn was a pretty long project by my standards, and my biggest regret with taking so long is that my dad did not live to see the final result. He raised me with a sense of curiosity, wonder, and humility about the world, and I like to think that comes across in my games, too. He and my mom always supported me throughout my creative endeavors, and they had nothing but complete confidence that whatever I was spinning my wheels on would eventually work out, and it looks like eventually it did work out, which is great. He was a good dad, and I miss him. I don't know where he is now, but I like to think that he's out there somewhere watching this and smiling. So thanks, Dad.
Throughout tonight's ceremony, we'll also be taking a look at the 6 games nominated for one very special award. This is BAFTA Game Beyond Entertainment Award. These games capitalise on the unique and maturing medium of video games to deliver a different experience beyond simply entertainment. Our first feature showcases 1111 Memories Retold, a bold and beautiful game that offers a fascinating proposition, a war game where you shoot not with a gun, but with the lens of a camera. So let's take a look at 1111 Memories Retold.
Memories Retold is telling the story of 2 men during World War I. One is German, Kurt, and one is Canadian, Harry. It is a fictional story based on true events, but it's a game about peace, not about war.
It's a tale about how humans tell stories, you know, how retelling a story is a subjective process, and sometimes the truth can be a bit blurry and maybe not quite the same to everyone who takes part.
They've chosen to zero in on one side and the other side, but humanizing those two sides so that we can relate to both of them.
A video game has this very, very special power of creating an immediate connection to the character you play. By putting you in the shoes of 2 supposed enemies, it creates a very intense questioning.
In games, there's a sense of agency that you don't get in other media. We really wanted people to feel the struggle to make what they think is the right decision. Games is the best way you can achieve something like that, and plus you can play as a cat.
I hope after playing the game, players will ask their family what happened during World War I, during World War II, so that this memory is kept alive, because it's crucial to make sure we don't repeat the same mistakes.
Everyone on the development team had some kind of personal story about how their family or how their friends have been affected by the war. So because of that, I think we really wanted to tell a human, kind of honest account of war, something that we could show to someone who was there and still be proud of what we'd done.
A lot of people every year wear a poppy at 11/11 in memory of World War I. This project is our poppy.
11/11 Memories Retold, the first of our nominees for the Beyond Entertainment category. Our next award is for Evolving Game. This recognises the games which, more than others, have evolved over time, as opposed to the previous award, which is for games created by intelligent design. Teach both sides of the controversy, people. Here to present it is a very subtle one. I really like that one. I genuinely really like that one that popped up. So here to present the award is Studio Director of Sports Interactive, the man that gifted us the incredible Football Manager series, Miles Jacobson.
Thank you, Dara. This award is for those games which continue to develop their offering after release, providing fans both old and new with new and more reasons to keep coming back. Here are the nominees for Evolving Game.
Evolving Game. Destiny 2 Forsaken.
So, this is to be a reckoning.
Fortnite. Sea of Thieves. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Elite Dangerous Beyond. Overwatch.
And the BAFTA for Evolving Game is awarded to Fortnite.
It's really heavy. Hello, I'm Sherida Spain, and I'm here to accept the award Beyond for Epic Games. So we are honored to be nominated amongst so many other amazing games. I'd like to thank our hardworking colleagues at Epic, and most importantly, we'd like to thank our players. It's because of you that we're standing here tonight. Thank you very much.
This award, our next award, is for narrative, and it celebrates the greatest storytellers of our time. More so than with movies, television, or even novels, video games offer opportunities for the authors and poets of our time to create adventures and worlds beyond the wildest imaginations of Shakespeare, Tolkien, or those Bible guys, and to share those tales with us in a way never before possible. Tireless in their endeavours and with limitless horizons, they do all of this fully in the knowledge that 95% of us will press X to skip. Here to present the award is someone who's provided us with incredible narratives in games such as Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. What she doesn't know about good storytelling, she can probably make up, because that's literally her job. Please welcome Caroline Marshall.
At their best, stories in video games can have even more impact on you than a film or a book, because you're part of it. You made it happen. You changed the world. You were there. Here are the nominees for narrative.
Narrative. Florence.
I fight guys stronger than me all the time.
Marvel's Spider-Man.
Like that time you fought Brian on the Brooklyn Bridge? Actually, that's a perfect example. The other guy's bigger, you gotta be quicker. Okay?
I know you're a god.
God of War.
Not of this realm, there's no mistaking it. He doesn't know, does he? About your true nature, or his own?
The longer you wait, the more damage you do. He will resent you.
Frostpunk.
Captain! Open the door!
Return of the Obra Dinn.
Something there! I see it! Give us a weapon! Let them go!
Sons of Dutch. Makes us brothers. Sometimes brothers make mistakes.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Stay strong. Stay with me.
And the BAFTA for narrative is awarded to God of War.
There's a mark to put the award, but I got to put it the other direction. All right, I can follow directions. Hello, everybody. First, I want to thank the amazing writers, Rich Gobert, Matt Sovos, Adam Dolan, and Orion Walker. We had a very long road on this project. It was filled with a lot of doubt, and we rewrote the script a few times. Sony gave us incredible support. My production partner, Yumi Yang, every single person at Sony Santa Monica Studios who worked tirelessly to realize the numerous changes that came on a daily basis when we decided, oh, we have a better idea. This will be so much better. Thank you for all the support from every single person who enjoyed the game and all of the excellent games that were nominated. I am a huge fan of every single one of these, so thank you for everybody for creating.
Okay. Time now to take a closer look at another nominee for Game Beyond Entertainment. Now, if challenging run and jump games aren't your thing, I have no doubt that the endearing journey of Celeste will still be able to win you over. Let's have a quick look.
Celeste is a platformer about a young girl called Madeline who's climbing a mountain, and it's a metaphor for her mental health and her anxiety. She's really struggling in her life off the mountain, and she just keeps on persevering. There's a really strong message just of tenacity in Celeste. What's really wonderful about it is that it takes video game mechanics and uses really physical mechanics to represent a very abstract idea of anxiety. And so when you have someone leaping and barely making it, you know, there are people in their daily lives who sometimes just feel like they're literally hanging onto a cliff edge. And there you are, controlling Madeline, managing to make it, getting through the next level, just really feeling that sense of accomplishment. I think because it's got a real instant respawn, so every time you die, you're immediately back there. It's almost like the game is saying to you, come on, keep going, keep going. And even though it is really hard, you feel yourself getting better, you feel yourself getting stronger. And as you're getting stronger, so Madeline's mental health is getting stronger. That's one of the wonderful things about video games. You can walk as many miles as needed in the shoes of a character. When you look at a game like Celeste or any game that deals with mental health, that's immensely powerful because you are totally empathetic with what it is the hero or heroine is trying to do and achieve. There's this weight of expectation. You almost feel like the real world is waiting for her off the mountain. I think a lot of people can identify with that, this idea of you have this internal struggle, but the real world is still moving around you and still demanding from you. But sometimes you do just need to look inward, take a deep breath, maybe imagine a feather, and everything will work out.
Next up is the Debut Game Award. They say you're only as good as your last game, but these next guys' last game is their first game. But that doesn't mean it's going to be their last game because their first game is really good. Here to present the award for Debut Game from Double Fine, producer of Psychonauts and Broken Age, it's Greg Rice.
Thank you, Dara. BAFTA identifies and celebrates excellence by discovering, inspiring, and nurturing new talent. This award gives the chance to celebrate the newest studios that have hit the ground running with an exceptional first title. Here are the nominees for Debut Game.
Debut Game. Beat Saber. Cultist Simulator. Donut County. Florence. Yoko's Island Express.
And the BAFTA for Debut Game goes to Yoko's Island Express.
Oh. Wow. Isn't making games great? We are one person short. Matthias Nygg should be here with us. But we'd also like to thank the rest of the development team, Johanna Ståhlberg, Marcus Franzén, Tom Bible and Jesse Harlin. We'd like to thank Arrowhead for housing us for 5 years while we made this game. Who am I forgetting? Our excellent publisher, Team 17. And that's it. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Congratulations to them. Congratulations both for their winning game and for their God of War cosplay. The next award is for mobile game. This award celebrates the best game of 2018 for mobile phones or tablets, but not for Switch, PS Vita, laptops, or any other portable devices because, you know, reasons. This award recognises those creations which have proven beyond doubt that smartphones and tablets can hold their own against traditional gaming platforms and, moreover, have revolutionised the way we poo. I'm going to bring on our host here, but when I just did one small thing. When I decided I wanted to marry my wife, I asked my wife. When our next presenters decide they want to marry each other, they ask YouTube. I do not understand young people anymore. Well done. They are the millennial answer to Ross and Rachel. Will they or won't they? It literally depends on how many likes they get. With a combined total of over 80 million subscribers, it's Ali, A and Claire.
Possibly more than in any other platform, mobile has the potential to innovate the very nature of what gaming experiences can be.
We've obviously found this fascinating on our own channels, watching the sector develop, and our next 6 nominees have continued to push the boundaries. Here are the nominees for mobile game.
Mobile game. Game of Thrones. Alto's Odyssey. The Room, Old Sins. Brawl Stars. Donut County. Florence.
I had one job, which was to put this on this side, so I'm just going to move that.
And the BAFTA for mobile game is awarded to Florence.
Hi. I've had the immense privilege of getting to work in the mobile space for a while now. And what I really love about it is getting to make games for such a wide audience, you know, like people who don't necessarily identify as gamers. And they're also really open-minded. They're open to sort of new experiences. So for Florence to have this award, I hope it encourages more creators to tell their personal stories in this amazing format. I'd like to thank our other teammates, Sam and Tony, to Megan Ellison, Hector Sanchez, and the rest of the amazing Annapurna team who supported us all along the way. Thanks to our collaborators, Fabian Malabella of the Otherworld Agency, Brooke Maggs, and the whole of the Melbourne video game development scene that supported us. And And, sorry? And Tony Reed. Tony Reed has mentored us along the way. Couldn't have done this without you. Yeah, thank you.
Florence, which I actually finished. It's really not that difficult. It's more about the emotional journey. Okay, time once more to take a closer look at another of the nominees for Game Beyond Entertainment. The next game, Florence, is a... wow, comedy's all about timing, isn't it? Is a simple story of love and painting that captured our hearts, and the only game, as I said, this year. So let's take a look.
It feels like we spend a lot of time talking with our friends and family about love and relationships and intimacy, and I wanted to bring together those ideas with the mobile game platform, especially now where we use our phones all the time for communicating with friends and family and for recording our lives through photos and video, and that's how we share our world. I thought that was a really interesting way to kind of play on our digital lifestyles.
It's hard enough to make a narrative work and make something follow the kind of rules and laws of narrative design, but then also it's hard to make something follow the rules of game logic and game design, and then to do both at the same time, that's like another whole level of difficulty. So yeah, absolutely, it was going to be tough from the beginning.
So we start the game, and the opening scene is our girl character in preschool. So many games are kind of just used to fill our time and act as a diversion. And I like to think that we can make games that are surprising and aesthetically beautiful and can give people a different experience. I love the process that we start off with this vision or this concept, but over the process of creating something, the story finds a life of its own, and then you're kind of trying to just catch up with it and discover it and do right by the characters. I think it's just kind of spending time with them and really re-examining who they are and where we see them going. They started to feel kind of real. It feels good, like it feels like we've accomplished a lot and made something that we can feel pretty proud of.
Ken Wong there. Ken Wong, the creator of Florence, who you'll remember from a minute ago. Next up is the Family Award, for which Florence is not nominated. This shines a light on those games which bring family together around their consoles and computers to discover entirely new ways of festering resentment and dislike. No, I love my kids, but I also love video games. Never ask me to choose, never. But many don't let them know my choice. Here to present our next award is a woman who brought us Broken Sword, one half of Revolution Software, Noreen Carmody.
Games can be enjoyed by people of all ages. They both entertain and stimulate our minds. Others can create, playing games with others can create lasting memories. Each of the nominees became the talk of this year. Here are the nominees for Family.
Family.
You got it, Dad!
Lego Disney Pixar's The Incredibles. Nintendo Labo. Yoku's Island Express. Pokemon, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Overcooked 2. Super Mario Party.
And the BAFTA for family is Nintendo Labo.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nicholas Wegnes from Nintendo UK, and I'm very honored to accept this BAFTA on behalf of our developers back in Japan, who worked so hard on trying one more time to surprise everybody with such a different product. I think it's known that families are extremely important for Nintendo, from kids to grandparents and everybody in between. Gaming is very important for us to try to offer them new experiences. And with Labo, one more time, I think we tried to surprise our developers, tried to make people play, discover, and play in a very new way. So we're very, very happy. We also would really like to congratulate all the other nominees who had amazing games nominated tonight. Thank you so much.
Our next award is for EE Mobile Game of the Year. Now, hang on, I know you're thinking, didn't we just have a Mobile Game of the Year award? Yes, but that one was voted for by the elites. This one is voted for by the ordinary people, and that never goes wrong or becomes complicated in any way, right? This is not a metaphor. Stop looking for metaphors. However, our new rule is everyone who comes on stage to present an award has to have more YouTube subscribers than the past lot. Our next presenter has over 21 million. It's DanTDM.
Mobile games have become better than ever, from actions games to puzzles, strategy titles, and everything in between. The EE Mobile Game of the Year Award recognizes the importance of the people who ultimately all these games are created for, the fans. Here are the nominees for EE Mobile Game of the Year.
EE Mobile Game of the Year. Ball Stars. Pokemon Go. Old School RuneScape. Clash Royale. Roblox. Fortnite.
And the award goes to Old School RuneScape.
Oh, wow. So first, thank you so much to the Academy for putting us in this category with such phenomenal games. Next, of course, thanks to our amazing team at Jagex who put this huge game onto small devices, made it work brilliantly, and made it work cross-platform with all the problems that come with that. And mostly, of course, thanks to our players who they've shown us a massive amount of appreciation here. But they've been on the journey with us for a long time. They give us ideas for the game, they vote content in, they tell their stories as well as the ones that we tell for them. We're incredibly privileged to accept this award from the people that matter most to us, our players. Thank you.
The next nomination for Game Beyond Entertainment is one which bravely tackles political themes in modern society, where decisions mean something. Let's take a look at Life is Strange 2.
We ask ourselves one question. If Life is Strange is becoming a series, what is its real DNA, you know? And the answer is Life is Strange series is about everyday, relatable characters facing universal issues laced with a twist of the strange.
The streets became his friend.
An important part of Season 2 is this travel aspect. They're fleeing, they're on a journey, and they need to advance and to move, and they cannot stay at one place.
Escapes the face of his
This is something also we wanted to talk about, the fact that you are on your own in the wild, and you don't have any money anymore.
Can't feel the ground.
You become to be an outcast, you become to be somehow homeless, and how people will look at Sean and Daniel will be really different of how they will used to be when they were in Seattle.
And what happens when they have to go on the road and experience these adventures and force them to confront the world that they were sheltered by a bit. And Sean, as the big brother, has to be the mentor, teacher, father figure.
The way you behave, the dialogues you will choose, every decision will have an impact on Daniel's behavior.
Spin your wrist when you throw.
I did it! I did it!
That was awesome.
It's about them becoming the people they're supposed to be. And of course, it's about the players' choices in making those characters who they are, and the player having that decision-making power over the characters, and then hopefully becoming part of them, with them, empathetically on their journey.
Sean, are we okay?
Don't worry. I'm right here.
The next award tonight is the award for artistic achievement. Until video games came along, no one ever paid artists to do anything. Citation needed. The history of art is littered with misunderstood geniuses who had to swap their masterpieces for food or beer. Now, thanks to the game industry, we can give them an outlet for their creativity and money, which they can then exchange for food or beer. Here to present the award for artistic achievement is the man that gave us the incredible and BAFTA-winning Monument Valley, Ken Wong.
Hello again. The games of the past year have brought us amazing brand new visions, as well as inventive imaginings of familiar worlds. We are here to honor 6 games which have pushed the visual storytelling and world building to spectacular new heights. Here are the nominees for Artistic Achievement.
Artistic Achievement.
This is a story about a little girl who was tired of being afraid. So they decided to run away together.
Detroit. Become human.
To find a place where they could be safe.
Greece. war.
Come on before she kicks off.
Return of the Obra Dinn.
Watch your step.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
This is God's own country. I feel I'm in purgatory.
Marvel's Spider-Man.
And the BAFTA for Artistic Achievement is awarded to The Return of the Obra Dinn.
Thank God I have a joke. I've been saying it for 30 years, and I think this proves the point that color display technology is a passing fad. Thank you.
Our next award takes a look at the broad church that is multiplayer gaming, with everything from competitive online to cooperative couch gameplay. So tonight, we'll find out once for all which is better, competing against strangers in battle or working with friends to appease the Onion King with some sushi. Here to present the award, singer-songwriter and now documentary filmmaker George Shelley.
These are heavy, like these are solid gold heavy. And this BAFTA is for Best Multiplayer, which brings us all together. This is about unity, and I've got 5 little brothers, 2 older brothers. Ocarina of Time was our thing when we were kids, for me and my brother Will. And with my little brothers, we are killing Smash Brothers, we are absolutely loving Overcooked 2, yes. And of course, Fortnite, Jesus, like that game is like taken over my dad's house. But for now, multiplayer. And the BAFTA is awarded to... Whoa, no we do not.
I know you're very excited, however...
I'm buzzing.
Kind of like a way we do these things.
Yeah.
They don't know what the nominations are.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the nominees are...
Thank you very much.
Multiplayer. Super Mario Party. A way out.
Everybody stay calm. Start talking. Stop it, man.
Overcooked 2. Sea of Thieves. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Battlefield 5.
This is the part. And the BAFTA is awarded to... A Way Out!
Okay, I want to start by... Yeah, I know. I want to start by thanking the jury for having really good taste, actually.
I'm really happy for this. And also, I want to thank my team. You have to remember, when we did that way up, many people think it's a big game, but it was a small game. 70% of the team were interns. But those interns are now kick-ass developers. So for the next game, I'm telling you, we're going to win every single one of this. So we are super excited and passionate. And also, I want to thank EA. I know, believe it or not, but they have been super supportive. I know it's hard to believe, but they have been very supportive. They let us do whatever the fuck we want. It's really nice. I'm telling you, like, we can do whatever we want, and we're extremely passionate at Haze Light, and you can come by, everybody, if you want, and visit us and see that I'm talking. Isn't it right? You Oscars. Tell them.
Whatever he says is the truth, yes.
Extremely proud of this. Thank you. Super proud. Thank you.
I thought he was going to speak for longer there. And actually, sorry, I've been in this country too long and through this current political climate too long. When he said 70% of the company was interns, I thought he said 70% were from Eton. I thought, oh God, not again. Jesus, they get their fingers into every pie. Okay, let's have a peek at another one of the nominees for Game Beyond Entertainment. The next nomination takes cardboard cutouts to the next level. It is Nintendo Labo.
I think what's so wonderful about the designers at Nintendo is they don't feel constrained. They're going, oh, this is exactly what a gamer would want. They always think quite literally outside the cardboard box. They have designed Nintendo Labo to combine virtual gaming with physical design, with education and learning to play. And they all kind of come together in this amazing way. I think the mark of a really good toy is there being, beyond the satisfaction of just building it, what you can do with it once you build it and finish it. And the fun doesn't stop once you've built a Toy-Con. You can then use that to play a whole bunch of different virtual games. You can design your own games and coding within the Toy-Con garage. There's a real sense of creativity and adventure within the whole Nintendo Labo series. You are not constrained by what the designers might have envisioned for you, which is why it goes beyond entertainment. It says to the player, what can you create? So you can use the fishing rod, not to fish, but you can change the programming inside it and design a whole new game where you use the fishing rod to direct the RC car. What you're giving kids and adults is not just a game, but a series of tools that they can use to create whole new experiences. Nintendo games have always been characterized that you can enjoy them whether you're young or you're old. And I think it says a lot that parents are learning about, engineering, design, construction, programming, just as much as their kids. Games are inherently social, and what better social activity than to actually create something together?
Our next award is for Audio Achievement, which presumably goes to whichever thing was the loudest. This recognises obviously the ability to be able to make things sound like other things. It's testament to the creativity of these teams that, for instance, when they view early, silent gameplay of Kratos attacking an enemy with the Guardian Shield, they think, I can make that happen with a paddling pool full of burgers and a bin lid. Here to present the award is the composer of the brilliant soundtrack to the BAFTA nominated Celeste. Please welcome the super talented Lena Rain.
Thank you. The BAFTA for Audio Achievement pays tribute to those games which excel in the design and application of sound, dialogue, and music, and the implementation of those elements in such a way as to significantly enhance the overall experience for the player. Here are the nominees for Audio Achievement.
Audio Achievement. Marvel's Spider-Man. Battlefield 5.
Wake them up a little!
Red Dead Redemption 2. Detroit, Become Human. Tetris Effect. God of War.
Sorry, I had to wait for the sound design to stop. And the BAFTA goes to God of War.
It's really hard for a game designer to walk downstairs in heels. Thank you so much to BAFTA for this honor. It's a huge, it's humbling to our team entirely. It's something that I don't think any of us in our careers would ever think we could achieve something like this. To our fellow nominees, you all created some amazing sounding games. Without your guys' craft, we wouldn't be able to push ourselves as well. I'm only one of an amazing, an awesome team at Sony Interactive and Santa Monica Studios. On behalf of myself, Mike Niederquell, and Todd Pippery, and an entire Sony Interactive PD Sound team, I have to thank all our sound designers, our integrators, and our whole dialogue crew, and even our team out here in the UK that helped us out at CSG, and even our localization team. Thank you so much for getting the game out the door for us. And of course, to Corey Barlog, to Shannon and Yumi and the entire God of War dev team. Without the world, that amazing world that you created, we would not have been able to create the soundscape for the game. So thank you, and from Hawaii, we always say mahalo nui loa, so thank you.
The next award is for Game Innovation, celebrating those developers who have managed to give us entirely new ways to experience or engage with the game. Video games are, by their very nature, more innovative than any other medium. Developers constantly test the limits of both hardware and their own imaginations. Within this highly competitive field, some go the extra mile and continually pushing the envelope with their outside-the-box blue sky thinking. At the end of the day, there simply aren't enough cliches to describe the extent to which these guys give 110%. Here to present the award, Media Molecule co-founder and studio director, Siobhan Reddy.
Hello. Right, so this award celebrates those games which have innovated in gameplay or technology or both. It's a personal favourite of mine. As our industry continues to grow and welcome new voices, the possibilities for innovation are just so thrilling. And that's what's going to keep us at the cutting edge and keep us the most powerful medium. Technology in particular allows us to, as an industry, allows us to ensure an even playing field for everyone. And I wanted to take this moment to applaud the work of Special Effect in particular, who brought us the first commercially available adapted controller this year. And here are this year's incredible nominees for Games Innovation.
Game Innovation. Moss. Cultist Simulator. Nintendo Labo.
You have been found guilty by self-confession on the murder of Nuncio Pasquale.
Return of the Obra Dinn.
Where are you?
Must be in here someplace.
Celeste. Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Okay, here we go. And the BAFTA goes to Nintendo Labo.
A huge thank you to the Academy. I think this prize in particular, innovation, goes so well with Nintendo. It's what Nintendo is about. So we really are very honored about this. It was a dream of the developers on who I accept this prize, to imagine people building toy cons, those cardboard constructions, but not only that, to use them to invent music, to invent new things with the garage mode. It was really their dream to see not only a new game coming out, but many parents and kids to accept it and invent and innovate with it. And that's why we're so happy and humble about the success of Nintendo Labo. And we again would like to congratulate all the other nominees, because innovation is so important for this industry and for Nintendo. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's clearly really important to you. Now, the final nominee for Game Beyond Entertainment, My Child Lebensborn, is a game that's made to create an emotional impact, and a very powerful one at that. The fate of children born of war is a largely unknown part of history, and it's inspiring that games can now deftly handle such serious topics. For the last time tonight, let's have a look at this final nominee for Game Beyond Entertainment.
My Child Lebensborn is a narrative-driven nurture game that puts you in the role of an adoptive parent. You care for a child that's born of a German soldier after the Second World War in Norway.
We really want to show the world so that they can experience what it's like to be a child that is hated for their genes, because you're seen as a symbol of the enemy. Games have this incredible power of interactivity. You engage with the material in a totally different way. In this game, when you are challenged what to say to a child that has been abused, you have to think about the situation of the child and take some responsibility for how to care for this child. And that is something you can't find in other media.
The main challenge lied in the burden of the true stories, making sure that we did justice to the victims. So we worked with the Lebensborn children to make sure that everything that happens in the game is representative to what children born of war in Norway experienced. The reactions that we've gotten after launching this game have been overwhelmingly positive. People really feel deeply for the child in the game, and even though it's not part of their own culture, like for instance in China, we see that people deeply empathize with the story, whether it's about the bullying or about the dark past of their own countries. People are sharing their stories and really showing their support.
We have one big goal with this game, and that is really to learn from history that we are creating war victims after the war is over because of hatred towards the enemy. This was relevant after the Second World War in Norway, and it is very relevant today. We really need to see and learn how children aren't responsible for their parents. So we're really hoping that this game creates reflection on the situation of children born of war, children of enemy soldiers, and how they are our kids, they are not enemies.
Yes, just demonstrating again the sheer breadth of topics that can be covered by gaming at the moment. The next award, however, is for Performer, celebrating those people who 25 years ago would have had to do really well on radio. No, as you see tonight, some people are very bad at saying words off script. Performer recognises those people who successfully convince you they're feeling things, despite actually they're just reading. Interestingly, 4 of the 6 nominees have performed in the same game, which sounds sweet, except they're in the same taxi home, and that's going to be awkward. Here to present the award, an actor you might know from the Bond movies, and who'll be starring in a brand new action-packed game called Blood and Truth coming out soon. Please welcome Colin Salmon.
Well, first, I'd just like to say it's an honour to be here and in a room of excellence, because there's no hiding place in this industry, I can assure you, as a performer. And they mentioned Blood and Truth. My God. 4 pages of dialogue, don't get it wrong, there's no edit, there's no cut. You start again, you get it right. So for all of the actors who want to get into this, do your homework, be prepped, be as good as the team you're working with. Our next award is to honour those talents who've shone brightest this year. Individuals whose performances have played a huge part in defining some of the most beloved and brilliant characters and immeasurably enhanced our immersion in the games. Here are the nominees for Best Performer.
Performer.
I've spent the last 100 years dreaming of this moment.
Jeremy Davis.
I've rehearsed everything I ever wanted to say to you, every word, to make you understand exactly what you stole from me.
Don't make the same mistake. Danielle Bisutti.
Have faith in him. I know the truth is inside, but nothing is when you lost your child.
The choices we make, no matter how small. Milasanthi Mahu.
Put us on a path to greatness,
Or lead us down a road to ruin.
the choice to define your own path.
We are not men. We are nothing. The responsibility is far greater.
Christopher Judge.
And you must think better than me.
You think I'm weak because I'm not like you.
Sunny Sunjay.
I knew I was never what you wanted. But after all this, I thought maybe things were different.
This whole thing is pretty much done. No more ghosts, right?
Roger Clark.
Just one more. There's a goddamn train. Time comes. You gotta run and don't look back. This is over.
And the winner is Jeremy Davis as the stranger in God of War.
Thank you. First of all, I'm dangerously grateful to be honored so recklessly. I mean, I'm still shocked that they let me get off the plane at Heathrow. White trash American misfit that I am. And I promise you, when I get off stage, I will dutifully report the crime you just witnessed. Corey Barlog. Corey. I love you and I'm proud of you, and I'm really happy that the cat is out of the almighty bag, my friend, because everyone knows now that you're the most God-sized gifted, criminally kind, Spielberg velocity director in the gaming world. And I still don't understand. I will never understand how you thought it was a good idea to cast me as a god, and a god with a badass mid-Atlantic dialect. After you saw me in playing a homicidal Trumpian redneck in Justified. That's how you made that connection. I'll never know. But thank you. I'm really grateful to you for hiring me so wildly against your better judgment. So thank you to BAFTA, the mighty BAFTA tribe, and to our friends and loved ones at Sony, Santa Monica Studios. I would really be honored to thank my easily magnificent fellow cast members, Chris, Danielle, Sonny. Thank you, my friends, for making me look illegally good. Anyway, thank you all like gangbusters. I hope this means it's officially too late to recast. And long live Corey Barlog.
There's our winner there, and in all the years I've been hosting the awards, there's never been a winner who I've been more desperate to kill. Why won't you die, you bastard? The stakes are very high, by the way, for the next award. It is for Best British Game. Now, it would be high anyway, but I've thrown in an additional prize. Whoever wins this, I'll get them an Irish passport. Going out for you. You're done. But very handy. British Game is particularly important because with Brexit it celebrates one of the few remaining growth industries in the country. Analysts suggest that by 2020 the only 3 growth industries we'll still have will be whiskey, milk and gaming, and that's only until Scotland leave. So here to present the award are 2 people so much cooler than me. I could take or leave the rest of you, but honestly, these 2, no. Give it up from the studio that won 5 BAFTAs last year for Ninja Theory's founder Tamine Antionades and rapper and broadcaster Mr. Midas.
The past 12 months saw an incredible array of games from British developers which made an impact worldwide.
And there is so many to mention, but we're obligated just to choose 6. So let's pray and see what they are.
British Game. 1111 Memories Retold. Two-Point Hospital. The Room, Old Sins. Overcooked 2.
One more big score. We got enough money to leave.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
I don't want to kill all these fake Dutch. Just
Forza Horizon 4.
And the BAFTA for British Game is awarded to Forza Horizon 4!
We didn't see this coming.
No.
We have many people to thank for this. Alan Hartman and Dan Greenewalt took a chance on us 9 years ago when not many people would have, or indeed did, and they've stuck with us over that period and been great partners and friends. So thanks to them, everyone at Turn 10 Studios, everyone at Xbox, and indeed all of our fans, all our Horizon fans, and our Forza community whose passion and participation inspire us daily. But the biggest thanks has to go to everyone at Playground Games up in Leamington Spa. Gavin Rayburn and Trevor Williams have been the driving force behind Playground since we started. And the team, the Horizon team, gave of themselves to make this game. It is a privilege to work with them every day. And it's our absolute pleasure to accept this award on their behalf. Thank you very much.
Okay, you've seen the nominations for the next category, Games Beyond Entertainment, throughout the night. Now to present the winner, please welcome writer of 80 Days and Sunless Sea, acclaimed narrative designer, Megan Gianf.
That's all right, thank you so much. All right. So all games reflect the political and economic realities of the world we live in. But the games nominated tonight not only reflect, but actively engage with important social issues, and they do so with acuteness, empathy, and complexity. Each of these games nominated tonight expands the vocabulary of our medium. And here are the nominees for Games Beyond Entertainment.
Game Beyond Entertainment. My Child Lebensborn. Nintendo Labo. Celeste. Life is Strange 2.
I'm sorry, Raven. I can't.
Florence.
I just did what we all did.
11/11 Memories Retold.
I followed orders.
And the BAFTA for Game Beyond Entertainment is awarded to My Child Lebensborn.
Hi, I'm Elin Festerén. It's just amazing to be standing here.
Katarina Böller.
And I did prepare. And first I have to say that thank you so much to my co-producer, development studio, Sarepta Studio, and lead game designer, Katarina, for an amazing collaboration the last 4 years.
We, of course, also want to thank our amazing team. They've done a wonderful job, and of course our partners also who have been working with us. We also want to thank Hamar Game Collective for the support throughout the years. We need to thank the Norwegian Film Institute, Østnorsk Film Center, and Film Invest for funding the game.
Yes. But most of all, we have to thank the remaining Lebensborn children for the courage, sharing their stories with us, and for trusting a mobile game to do their stories justice. So this prize is for you, as this game is for you. And lastly, we do have a greeting to you all from the Norwegian Lebensborn children. We are survivors of a lifetime of abuse, being punished for carrying the genes of the enemy from World War II. But our suffering is also the suffering of children born of enemy soldiers today. After every war, the story repeats itself. Children are seen as symbols of the enemy instead of the innocent children they are, our kids. So thank you, BAFTA, for helping to bring our stories to the world. We need to learn from history so we can avoid repeating the mistakes of the past and help the young, defenseless children of today who need people to stand up for them and to care. Thank you very much.
And now we have our final award. And normally, obviously, we've seen it happen many times, this would be the point where the presenter would explain the criteria for the award. But if you can't work out what best game means, then don't play Brenda. Here to present the award is the man who, with Bandersnatch, blew tele-audiences' minds with a choose-your-own-adventure. What next, Charlie? A show about people on platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Black Mirror co-creator Charlie Brooker.
The award for Best Game is a bit like a boss level, if you think about it, and even more so if you don't, really. Fortunately, unlike in a boss level, tonight's winner won't have to identify and mercilessly attack my one weak spot, which isn't an open missile hatch, but an inability to form lasting friendships. But enough of this disappointing cutscene. The nominees for Best Game are...
Best Game. Astrobot Rescue Mission. God of War.
Can you kill something that big?
Where must we go?
To a realm beyond your own.
We are not men. We are more than that.
Celeste.
this gang.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
I was happy to die for it. I wish things were different, but they weren't us to change.
Return of the Obra Dinn.
There are no wrong paths.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Only who you choose to become. This is your Odyssey.
And the BAFTA for Best Game is awarded to God of War.
Okay, I wanted to take a moment because I didn't really appreciate that I was standing on this stage last time. This is a pretty amazing thing. First, I want to thank the BAFTAs for this. This is amazing. I want to thank the amazing cast that I had to work with on this. You guys really elevated the words off of the page. The Santa Monica team, every single person. I wish I could sit here and just list off all their names, but that would take 12 hours. But they all know what they did, and they did something damn amazing. Yumi Yang, my production partner, and the only reason that I'm semi-sane at the end of all of this. Shannon Studstill, Scott Rohde, Shuhei Yoshida, and Sean Layden for an incredible amount of support during this process, because I can't imagine why in the world they thought it was a great idea in the beginning, because it didn't really feel all that fleshed out, but you know, we can trick people, mind games. And you know, look, creating things is really hard, as we all know. It is daily failure, constant doubt, this feeling that what you're doing is really not that great, not that good. And every once in a while there's a shining moment of, aha, I got it, which is followed by sobbing. And no small amount of yelling at each other for years on end. But when we reach that end point, no matter what the outcome is, how the audience receives it, that victory that we all in this room share for completing something, for creating something, for adding to this industry is amazing. And I salute every single one of you for being members of the battlefield, for creating, and I thank every single person who actually creates things that inspires me to want to retire because all of your stuff is really good. All right, I really think that's it. Seriously, you guys are amazing, and we would not be here without all of you. Thank you, everybody.
Well done to God of War, not just for winning as many BAFTAs, but for choosing a cast who looked like they could actually carry an axe if they wanted to. In real life. There we go. That concludes the 2019 BAFTA Game Awards. Congratulations to all of our winners. For the nominees, there will be a full walkthrough of this on IGN tomorrow, so you can play back through and win the award yourselves. And the live stream will be archived, so for the completists, there's a chance to go back and get all the jokes you didn't get first time, just to 100% it. Thank you once again to the London of Oriana Choir and all of our sponsors. I'm Dara Bryan. Thank you very much. Good night, goodbye, good luck. We'll see you again.